Futures back in negative territory here to start things off on a Friday morning. We're chopping around a little bit as we get going into the last day of what has been a pretty exciting week. More inflation data to come this morning in the way of PPI coming up at 8:30. We'll bring that to you live when it happens. January wholesale sales too coming through this morning. A lot of individual movers. Netflix, big storyline this morning. Block, a big storyline this morning. Netflix, if you've missed it, after the close last night, announced it's walking away. It's done. It's had enough, this back and forth. And I was just reading a little bit on the breakup side of this deal. And it looks like it was only if it was regulatory that they would have to pay. Yeah. So Netflix essentially scot-free on that side of things. So we're back above 90, back above 91 right now. Looking pretty good here for Netflix. And as we were saying just before we came on, whoever was buying this thing the past 3 days going into this had no idea that this was coming on a Friday morning.
I know, come on now. I mean,
that doesn't happen.
But the prediction markets were wise to this, right? Yeah. Remember, we were looking at this and there was like a 25% chance that this deal actually went through, 75% chance it didn't, and there it is, walking away. There was going to be regulatory hurdles. Let's be honest, about Europe, the North America as well. They were both kind of signaling that it would be a bit too big. But there's a whole lot to talk about, Brendo. As you mentioned there, XYZ Block in focus. Jack Dorsey going on Twitter and just basically saying, we're ripping the Band-Aid right off. They don't want this incremental layoff. He says it's going to be bad for business. If you don't know what I'm talking about, he almost cut half the company's workforce yesterday, basically coming out and saying what the other CEOs don't want to say, which is it's AI related.
Yeah, and that's the point I think that everyone's been really pointing to this morning is that, as you said, he's ripping the Band-Aid off, not beating around the bush on this, just straight up saying it, and doing it all at once. 4,000 people.
It's
all at once.
Heartbreaking.
So, I mean, the business itself is what it is. Back to $65 here this morning for XYZ. I mean, this thing's been 50, even below that for weeks now. I mean, obviously nowhere near where this thing was trading. You're just going back 5-6 years ago.
And they grew gross margins like 25% year over year. They're taking home about 12 and change billion in profit. So it's not like the company's in trouble. It's not like you can say, no, you know, he had to right size the company. It's about efficiencies, and the market rewarded him here to the tune of almost 20 1/3%.
Two things on that. One is this a green light now for others to just go ahead and do the same thing? And the second is, there was no mention that I saw, maybe I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but there was no mention that I saw. There's going to be more than $1 billion in savings, that he was saying.
Yes.
Okay, so what are you doing with that?
Exactly.
You know, like, is there more ideas? Is there more, you know,
well said.
You know, is there more concepts in the pipeline that could get this thing going in the right direction? But XYZ, yeah, obviously going to be one of the major storylines. Netflix was just moving around there a little bit at 8:30, might have been dark prints. Yeah, it looks like it's essentially back to where it started from. Again, 8:30, we have PPI data coming through. May or may not be anything. I mean, it is more on the inflation front. On that, though, it's kind of interesting. First time since November, the 10-year below 4 this morning, 3.98 on the 10-year. So 5 months it's been above 4%. So maybe we're starting to see that narrative change, at least on the long end of the curve.
You and I were talking earlier in the week that the 30-year mortgage in the States had come down below 6% for the first time, I think, since 2022 or 2021, something like that. So yeah, it's been inching down incrementally, and we know the 10-year is really important for mortgages, right? Yeah. So it's one of the leading sort of indicators that mortgage companies use to base interest rates.
Job market still super strong. Overall, the economy is still super strong. So finally seeing a little bit of that coming through as far as rates are concerned, guys. Happy Friday. Good morning.
Good morning, and appreciate the effort to go over the two names that are up this morning. Like, that's, you know, we got Netflix, that story, good for them, and then we got Block. Unfortunately, however, NVIDIA is in the red again. CoreWeave's down 12% after their earnings. Zscaler's down double digits after their earnings. Duolingo is down.
I didn't even look at Zscaler.
Well, 20-something%. I have to double check. It was over 20% the last I checked. SMR is down. I believe Marathon Digital is up. So Mara's up because they're going the Iran route. So there's a lot going on, but most of it hasn't been so good. For a start, we already knew it was going to be a tough act to follow after what happened to NVIDIA yesterday. But to see CoreWeave down this 11-12% when we were just almost $100. Definitely a change. I don't. You want to call it the apocalypse? I just saw in the chat someone say, "Welcome to the apocalypse." I don't know that it's the apocalypse or anything, but you know, with the whole punishment that some of these names are getting, even when they have a good quarter, was exemplified yesterday with the way that NVDA was trading. And again, only down 0.4%, but you know, there was a slight bounce. It was at 185. They were basically flat when I sat down. It's been only slowly gliding to the downside. And it hasn't been as if all of these names had bad reports, like Duolingo beating the top and the bottom. Whoops, DUOL on the top and the bottom, and it was just their guidance. Lack of a belief that these guys have a future. 25% to the downside for Duolingo. New fresh lows. Every tick is a new low on these bad boys. Yeah, so yeah, I get it. Netflix, good. Block, good. Obviously, that's okay, but most of this is looking pretty grim to start.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not great. I'm logging into TikTok here to see everybody watching us on TikTok. What do you think about this? So they're firing or laying off 4,000 of the 10,000. What do you think about this compensation? You get 20 weeks of your salary. You get this is from Block. You get 1 week of tenure. So you're there 10 years. You get 10 extra weeks. You get the equity vested through the end of May. You get 6 months of healthcare. You get all the corporate devices that you have. You get to keep those. And 5,000 to put to whatever you want. It's not horrible for people losing their jobs there at Block. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a nice little cost savings for them. And yeah, the AI train hits Block there, and there it goes up 20%. And I don't know. I have it written down here. I'm going to wait for a little bit of a fade. I'm going to see if this one comes back down. Yeah, look, I said yesterday at the close that I thought maybe we were going to have another day here today, similar to yesterday. We're starting off even worse, but let's, PPI could change the whole things. That is for sure. I don't even know what the EWY is. What is that? What ETF is that?
South Korea.
EWY. South Korea. Look, man, I mean, this is the thing. There's so much happening outside of the United States. It's crazy, right? Like, I didn't even know this. Look at this ETF, South Korean MSCI, South Korean Index. Wow. Like, what? EWY.
The first time I looked.
So at the beginning of the year, this thing was 105. It's 150. South Korea up 50% year to date. Probably something to do with all that RAM and all that kind of stuff going through there. But what? Overlay this with the S&P 500, and you'll be wondering why your money's in the S&P 500. But what are my thoughts? My thoughts are I don't know enough about it, so I'm gonna have to find out like which companies are South Korean descent and where that money's coming from. But look at the emerging markets. It's the same kind of thing that's happening here as well. This is $55 emerging markets up to 63, straight up. And if we're gonna call something up like the Nasdaq or anything like that, and we go year to date on the Nasdaq, okay, so here's January, you are down. They don't look the same, do they, right? I mean, this is the thing about all this investing. It was decades and decades of under-investment, utilization and capitalization and all that of these foreign markets, and they're really starting to go now. Here's, this is year to date right here. Like, it's the same charts I'm calling up. S&P 500, I guess, is negative now year to date, or close enough to doing that. And then you have other markets up 50%, 20%, 15%, and keep on going. Same stories here in Canada. It keeps going higher as well. So, yeah, overseas traders are definitely living their best life on the back of all these policies that Trump is doing. America, make America great again. It looks like all these other countries now, it's just the stock market. This has nothing to do with like...
Stock markets aren't economy.
That's what I'm saying. This has nothing to do with like, we talked about this here in Canada, like, even though our market keeps on ripping higher, we can clearly see there are some struggles.
We have high unemployment,
so it's not all that, but yeah, shout out, So maybe America, the United States, the American markets look like, from a market standpoint, have some catch up to do. And thank you for bringing that EWY to our attention. Like, I have never even heard of that, man.
Meanwhile, we're just sitting here for the last 4 months doing absolutely nothing with the SPY. Literally nothing. It's just this long consolidation. It's not that this is the thing, everyone goes doom and gloom and all that, but it's because everything else, there's so many other places that are showing strength where the money is going. And unfortunately, it's like every time we take a step up, we just take 1 or 2 steps back. And so we're sitting pretty flat. But what is supposed to make this market break out now? Right? Like we've seen some decent rotation, but NVIDIA, if that quarter's not going to do it, can that tech bounce? Can the software bounce actually have any legs? We saw CRM recently report I feel like Salesforce is right in the pocket of we'll feel better about these SaaS names when they're able to break. That failed that 200 level. There was a prove it spot yesterday. You're now back down another 3 points. This was a strong stock yesterday. It looked like it had a chance to make this breakout, like it was bottoming, and now it's the complete opposite. It's like a failed break. NVIDIA, failed breakout. This is where we're sitting. In 20 minutes, we get PPI data. Maybe that can do something for us. Who knows? But the good news is there's lots of stocks that are moving today. Let's be real. We haven't even talked about the metals.
We were saying how it was like no, it was like a big time earnings plays yesterday for names that were going to move.
Lots of movers.
Names that were really helping build some of the AI race. CRWV down another 10%, or is it 10%? 12% now down. Duolingo down. Duolingo's down bad. What about Dell? The Dell's actually...
Well, Dell's good.
Yeah, Dell's a good story here today, up to 140 right now. That's up 15% and going higher. So maybe, maybe we look today as in some SMCI. Maybe we look... in a place that could get going here. And I don't know why Dell's up that much and SMCI isn't. I actually thought that would be upside as well. Marathon's up, which is nice. Oh, yeah. New Scale down. So here's another one, the Year of Magical Investing. Shout out to Kramer. That's down as well. Rocket Lab down. Another name down. Downside there today, down another 5% there. I didn't even realize Zscaler was down 12 right there. Let me check it out. I said to Sharif that I bought some Palo Alto the other day at 144. That went up to 149, 150 yesterday. That's down on Zscaler. I like CrowdStrike at 350 was pretty sweet. We'll see if we can maybe get low in there again. I don't know, before 3 straight up days there for CrowdStrike. That's trying to go upside. But yeah, ZS today getting hit. And we're going to talk about all these. We do have Michael Nauss coming through as well around 8:30. Apparently he was talking about EWY and some of these emerging markets before as well. SK Hynix and Samsung and all that doing
I wonder how much of that market is just those, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I got to look at the ETF.
Yeah. It might be very heavily weighted.
Look at Zscaler, man. Zscaler doesn't even have an up day. All right, so Zscaler right now, top to bottom, is 54% downside right there for Zscaler since November. So if you sat your money in Zscaler, you're down 50% right now, and it looks like actually it's more than. What am I talking about? Oh yeah, that's right now, 350 to 140. Yeah, so wow, 55% downside there on Zscaler, and not a great morning to be part of that. I was actually really surprised coming in today and seeing Palantir actually holding out pretty good at 135. So we'll see. Palantir down 0.4. Sometimes this one is like a fish in the barrel. They just shoot this one down whenever the market gets hit. So I'm thinking Palantir might be basing a little bit. I think Palantir is one of the better longs, I think, for long term. Oh yeah. The other thing here is I look at our good friend Bitcoin again right here. Yeah, that's happening to the downside. Here's the dollar right now, kind of just pretty flat this morning. But if we talk about Bitcoin, you're right at that level that I was hoping we wouldn't see for a minute, and that's 66,000 again. So yeah, going over a daily chart for Bitcoin right now, I was just saying I thought we were going to try at least to look at the 72, 73,000. It didn't even really come that close, man. Well, I guess it did get to 70. I was asking you guys if it got to 70. It looks like it almost did, or basically did, and now it's coming back down. So we got to try to hold these areas right here. It's going to be a nasty weekend. BMNR is also down today. Oh boy, I came in today and I said to the guys, I was like, this is going to be, this is going to be a bad day. And
felt that way all morning.
Yeah, and I'm still feeling that. And when I started
looking at the morning highs too.
Yeah, when I started looking at the market, it was doing this. So a little bit of a bounce and then this again. And then plus, thanks for asking us about the 3-day rule yesterday. And I want to say shout out to Easy Peasy. For some reason, I saved this guy thousands and thousands of dollars yesterday saying, just avoid the bid here on NVIDIA. Thank you, Joe. or whoever hit that. But yeah, there goes NVIDIA, just down another 1% today, and just can't find a bid. Look at this. They're hitting it already. Like, what is there news that just came out? Like, this just went from 184 to 182 change, and going lower right now, almost gapping lower right now is NVIDIA. So I don't know, man. I mean, it's just going to be something where you're going to have to trade cautiously long, I think. If you're long, trade cautiously, and if you're short,
it just depends on the name,
hold,
right?
I would say.
The metals are a little bit strong today.
Wow, NVIDIA.
Some of the oil names can be good. Actually missed out on Oxy yesterday, which was that's a disappointment. If you're looking bearish, you're not or you're looking for some of the shorts, you miss out on something like this. Oxy came back to that $50 level after earnings and bounced pretty clean off of it. So maybe this is the chance that it gets for the secondary breakout. I like the long here. Again, the conflict not going to hurt, unfortunately, over out in Iran. And we haven't had too many updates yet, although things are still looking in the other direction when it comes to that in terms of looking negatively. But I do like some energy. Oxy has a chance to break out a 52-week high today. I just more like it for continuation, so want to look for a bit of a dip and a rip. But there's always something bullish out there. Like, this was strong. Netflix was strong yesterday. You'll see more of that here today. The thing about blocks, though, I know they're doing all those cuts, but they're just going back to COVID levels. Or I guess pre-COVID levels is the way to say it. So they're really, like, they were one of the names that more than doubled their headcount from 2020 on. So they're going to be going back to those levels. So to that point that I know Brendan was talking about, what are they going to do with the money? It's not like they were having a bad queue. But I think it's an acknowledgement that some of that build out and growth, which a lot of firms were guilty of, was probably too aggressive. So that's another name to watch. It's not actually doing a ton of volume pre-market, despite the fact that it's up that 20%. So it needs to prove something at the open to be able to hold this gap. Yeah, but lots to look at. Although I haven't seen many small cappers out there, Sharif. Certainly something like an SMR would have been nice if it had squoze, but yeah, it did the opposite.
You're absolutely right, Neil. I've got my eye on one over here, and it's quite anemic given, what we're typically seeing here in the morning. FIG seems to be at today's high. Figma, of course, that's not a small cap gapper. Oh, excuse me, not that one. FIGS, I was about to say. I was like, Figma. FIGS going here, Brenda. Let's flip to the 5, see how this one's looking. Really light on volume, 1470 it's trading at. This one looks like it made the move yesterday in the aftermarket into about $14, kind of continuing today. As you can see there, 17.88%. I mean, this is the best that the small cap gapper world has to offer us, Brendo? I mean, yeah, the light bunch today. Hopefully by midday it's a bit better.
Yeah, not much to look at so far. Google, pretty light on the volume side of things right now. Downside a little bit here. Jumping into the leasing game is Alphabet with their TPUs. So, I mean, you'll talk about the Meta side of things in a second here, but from a business standpoint, makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
We were just talking about NVIDIA making a move down there. I mean, I think it's going to get to a point where it'll be NVIDIA still, obviously. They've had quite the head start, but there's going to be other players in this.
Absolutely. And we saw, I think it was earlier this week, correct me if I'm wrong, where Meta tied the knot with AMD, giving up almost, AMD is almost going to give up 10% of the company if the entire 6 gigawatts goes through. So look, they're looking to diversify chip supply, so you're not concentrating all your reliance on one provider. But this TPU rental deal here between Google, which I'll get to in a second, and Meta kind of reinforces Google's role as the AI infrastructure build-out and hints at monetizing custom silicon and giving NVIDIA a run for their money. So separately, Brendo, Meta did scrap their own program internally to custom design chips. So that story kind of came out in parallel with the Google rental story. So Meta is going to sign, I should say, a multi-year billion-dollar agreement to rent Google's TPUs, tensor processing units. Chips could begin powering Meta's data centers as early as next year, 27. Discussions may also provide for a joint venture, actually, between Meta and Google, where they can kind of rent it out to other people, right? These data centers, if they have excess capacity, they can give it to other companies looking to rent as well. But we know that Google's TPUs are really good for inference and training, and they're a more cost-effective way to get your models out there and to have AI rather than going and paying the $30,000-$40,000 per chip that NVIDIA charges.
And at the end of the day, it's just yet another line at the end of Google's earnings report that we'll have to pay attention to going forward. I mean, it's not all bad today. Here's XLE. I mean, you can look at individual names, but XLE just took out the highs from yesterday. It's absolutely screaming. So energy names up once again today. Oil just, I saw, had an uptick as well. Nothing in the way of macro-ness, if that's a word, to deal with today, but or significant anyways. But I mean, these have been pretty strong individual names, not necessarily the ETF, but individual names over the past week or so. And
we saw yesterday with Iran and the United States. They were, I think, in Geneva or a different state. I'm not sure. They were in Europe, and they were the discussions between the two countries were being mediated by the foreign minister of Oman. So the foreign minister of Oman said things were serious and there was progress made. The Iranians kind of echoed that sentiment, but the Americans really didn't. Yeah. So I think that the fact that Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff didn't have anything positive to say is spooking markets a little bit, and that there could be, some aggression. But Brendo, it costs a ton of money to keep that military over there. You can't just have them over there stationary forever and ever more. That's a lot of money that's being expended. So one must wonder what comes next.
At the end of the day, I was just checking here. The S&P is 2.7% off the highs.
Exactly.
Could be worse. Joe has some options ideas for us.
All right, guys. Good morning and happy Friday. Yeah, I mean, a lot going on here. Yesterday, we've seen a little bit of a slide in the overall market. So I wanted to see what was up in the Nasdaq and what we had from supply zones and potential resistance and support levels. And what I came up with here is that $610 mark. You can see we're trading south of that level right now, but the open interest and the volume was the highest that we've seen on today's expiration cycle throughout the strike prices here on the Nasdaq. So 26,700 contracts still currently open, and then volume sitting around 74,000 contracts open and closed on yesterday's session. Okay, so these are going to be expiring today. And then you can see that we have a $4 spread. Your delta sitting at that 47 metric, and then your gamma exposure, relatively cool. If we continue to slide today, I want to see how we react around this specific level, or if we find a rebound on the numbers coming at 830. Now, if we break and breach this, I want to see how the overall market's going to react, as I just mentioned. But if we start to slide south of 610, there could be a good opportunity there. At the money, IV sitting around 22.5%. Now, as I was sitting at my desk yesterday, I see a pop in this name. Yes, that's correct, Netflix, and obviously removing themselves from the bidding war with Paramount Skydance. I messaged Obi, I'm like, oh, okay, we're up 12% here. Let's take a look at the options chain and see what we have going on. Now these contracts are gonna be deeply in the money. Open interest at that $84 mark, sitting around 18,600 with volume around 37,600 contracts open and closed on yesterday's session. Once again, this is going to be expiring this Friday. Now, as for your bid and ask, that's a tight spread, $3. I like this, but one thing that we are going to notice after the open, keep an eye on your Greeks. Your Vega metric is going to be increased drastically, 48.4% right now, but I'm going to suspect a substantial jump after the open and have the options market pricing in the volatility in which we experienced from last night. Now, as for your delta, you're sitting at that 61. I thought it would be a little bit higher, to be honest with you, considering it is a deeply in the money contract, and maybe those variables will change slightly after the open. Gamma exposure, pretty big. I mean, almost $20 for every, your rated change is essentially almost $20. So if we see an increase here, which you will on this specific strike price, that gamma effect is really going to have a drastic impact on the value of this specific contract. So keep an eye out on Netflix and the triple Qs, guys, this morning. We will be back momentarily with some upgrades and downgrades.
Big story for Netflix there. Like, they get... Basically, the breakup fee works out to like a quarter of last year's like net income. So it's a pretty significant, that $2.8 billion, and they get that bit of a bump. You're going to be out and about into somewhat new territory for Netflix. Like, we're chilling at 91, so it's breaking out on this daily over the 50 on the over the 50-period moving average, and there's some room because it was so far down. You want to use a weekly chart here to show you how bad this has been. This is now an obvious trend break here for Netflix. So I think it's got some serious room to go. This should just be the start. You were waiting for a resolution here. I think we've got it. The only thing to look at, though, is that with us at that 91 level, psychologically 90 can be a bit of support, but when I pulled out, like, when I zoomed it out a little bit further on the 60-minute, I got 87 and 90 is the only two levels to watch, and we're a couple points above that. So it might need to do a little bit of a dip or start to hold VWAP, but this should be, I think it can be a strong one today. There's not much that looks good. I mean, every time I look over, I see the futures are at the lows and making a new small, fresh low here. So yeah, you're kind of not pulling at straws to find some strong ones. We already mentioned Dell, Netflix will be on that category as well. Block needs to prove it. Not a lot of pre-market volume for them, at least Netflix, has got some good volume. Mara, I feel a bit iffy about that one. So there's not that many things going strong. Silver and gold, however, are both jamming to the upside. We got GLD here, almost 1%, but SLV's already up 4 points today. And as the market goes down, well, guess what? The metals go up. So we're seeing an even stronger day than yesterday. Big rally in the afternoon, continuing here. So much for the dip and rip in this. That ain't happening. It's only rip for the metals.
Yeah, exactly. I have silver written down, and we're not going to get $80 on silver, not now, as it rips up. I wrote down $80 when it was at 81. I'm just putting the sticky note out right now, and yeah, all of a sudden, wow, 84. So now we got to play it back to VWAP. So that's my most updated note right now on silver is play it back to VWAP. We nailed it yesterday. Like I was saying, one of the biggest trades I put on was silver when we broke that short there. Look at this market, man. I mean, like this was happening, and that's when I was like, man, this is going to be a bad day. And then now it's even getting worse. We have 3 minutes now until PPI. I don't think that's going to save the market. I mean, it could give us a temporary bounce, which is perfect, exactly what we want, so we could get more short right now. Silver just absolutely mooning, and NVIDIA going opposite right now, trying to break down below 183. I was actually close to putting on here AMD as well. This is going to break 2 bills. Like, look at this thing. This has just been a pretty bad week, overall. We did have a nice jump up on that news for AMD and Meta, and now it's coming right back into this level one more time. And then, one of the names that I think is going to be bought eventually is Microsoft. And, we talked about the IGV in the software space. That was a ripper yesterday, but yeah, today, no more, as you're down another 1.5% here with Microsoft. Okay, 2 minutes to go. We're gonna have Michael coming up very, very soon. And that should be interesting to see what he wants to talk about. Maybe some metal game. You know what? We didn't even look to see what oil was up to here today. Let me just have a quick little look here. This is the April contract. I assume we're still probably on the April contract. There it goes. So it's like everything today, commodity. We got oil going, we got gold going, we got silver going. So another 3% here. Yeah, man, the XLE. This continues to rock higher, man. I'm up 10% in a month or so on the XLE. I really love that breakout. Michael knows all about this one. He had talked about the XLE on the monthly and how that looked breaking through some of those key levels. As soon as this thing broke 50, it was a buy, and there it goes. Nice move on XLE to the upside, another 1% or so. All right, 1.5 minutes. Let's go back to the desk. We're expecting PPI at 8:30, and we'll see if that moves this market, and hopefully to the upside as we're almost down 1% on the Nasdaq.
Here's a quick overview of what is expected here for the month-over-month number. Again, this is a January print we're getting. 0.5% was the prior. We're expecting 0.3 to the upside. This is producer prices, if anyone's seeing this for the first time, versus consumer prices. So this is not anywhere near as significant on the market side of things. It can move the market, but typically does not. Last time around for core, we got 3.3%. This time they're expecting exactly the same thing. Coming up at 9:45 this morning, Chicago PMI for February. 54 was the last one. 51 expected on that. Some construction spending data at 10 o'clock. And then we get that Friday afternoon oil rig count on the backside of lunchtime, I guess, around 1 o'clock. That doesn't really typically do much. Again, just pay attention to energy stocks today if they are moving around. That can have a little bit of an effect. Just under 30 seconds to go here, we'll get this PPI print. making a big deal about what's probably going to be absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it's the inflation print. I think we're really focusing on obviously CPI and PCE, but PPI could be the canary in the coal mine, especially if producers start paying more. They're going to pass it on, and we'll have to keep an eye on that, Brendo. But as the boys been saying today, it feels like we're starting off a little bit red. But as you pointed out as well, what are we, like a couple of percentage points off all-time high? So we're still within that consolidative range.
Yeah.
Choppiness always catches people off guard.
Here's the number here. January PPI month over month, 0.5%, so a little higher than expected there. 0.3 was the expectation on that side. 0.8 on the month over month for core, much higher than expected. 0.2, 3.6 versus 3.3% for the headline number there. So if we have a quick look, again, Michael Nauss, downside on that number. If we have a quick look, Michael Nauss actually wants to talk about what you were just mentioning, the simple fact that everyone's still focused on NVIDIA specifically, or the tech narrative, but here we are with the S&P still, just reaching for all-time highs, basically.
Absolutely, and Sean was making this point earlier as well. Him and I were talking about, buying the indexes, and we were discussing a little bit of SPY, a little bit of the Qs, and he's like, look, I have so many of these, the names that make up the great majority of the Qs. Diversifying to the SPY, gets you exactly that, diversification away from tech.
Yeah.
But Brando, when we look at the Qs, and whatever time frame you want to look at it for, you compare the SPY, you compare the Qs, you get more upside with the Qs because the tech companies are what is leading the way.
And typically more volatile, but I mean, on that, I look at, there's unlimited amounts of global related ETFs, whether you want to group them all together or whether you want to do it individually on a country basis. There's many ways to look at those.
What's that ticker, emerging markets, Brando? EMT or something like the EEM. Thank you, Katina, man.
There's lots, yeah.
There's a bunch of them, right?
There's lots, yeah.
It's been a rocket ship lately, this EEM thing. If I could just show the daily on this. Look at this.
I mean, there's one that I follow here in Toronto all the time as well that's just been an absolute rocket ship since the end of last year. So lots to consider in a year that has changed a little bit, anyways, away from the tech narrative. Let's bring in Michael Nauss and get more on that idea this morning. The simple fact that here we are, Mr. Nauss, better part of 2% off all-time highs, but everyone is still very focused for the S&P, not necessarily the Nasdaq. I think Nasdaq's pushing 5 at this point, 5% off the highs, but everyone's still very focused on this AI narrative, the NVIDIA narrative, the tech narrative, but there's lots of other things still working here in this market.
Absolutely, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today because I went on Twitter last night. It's usually a mistake.
Yeah, don't
when you
do
go
that.
on Twitter. Yeah, and it's just, and that's what my first slide is, and it's no shade at any of these individual people, but just every tweet was about NVIDIA and the fact that it gapped up and it sold off, and more of this is the end and this is really bad. And the next chart I have is just the chart of NVIDIA. And I want to highlight that, that's a bad candle yesterday. But it hasn't gone anywhere since October of last year. And the question is, do we need this? And I keep hearing we need the Mag 7 to move higher. We need these things to go. And maybe that's true. Maybe at some point we need to. But we haven't since October, November of last year. And I'm just going to kind of show that to you guys and prove it to you. And I think it's one of these moments where this might be the norm. It might be the norm that these large cap techs have the whole AI thing kind of already priced in, and they just do nothing for a period of time, which is what I think is happening with NVIDIA. You got to imagine every firm out there that studies the stock market has like 10 interns that are just following this guy around and know everything about this company before it gets released. So if that's the case, and it reminds me of Apple back in the day when it was the big thing, it just might not move forever. And that is going to weigh on my next chart, which is just the QQQ. And absolutely, right? If you look at this chart, it kind of looks exactly the same. And because NVIDIA's upwards to almost 10% of the Nasdaq. And I hear that, people look at the Qs and they say this is tech. Well, it's one of those moments where I think we really need to kind of step back and focus and say, okay, well, what is the market, and what are we talking about when we're talking about the market? My next chart here is just the S&P 500, which looks a little bit better. Like you said, it's closer to all-time highs, because if this is the market to you, that's great, but it's still 30% tech. It's still like 7% or so NVIDIA. So it's still going to be weighed by these. So I brought just a couple other ETFs that I think do a better job of showing what's actually going on. You guys mentioned international. I didn't bring ACWX, which is my favorite international one, just because we've kind of talked about that already. So I'm talking specifically inside the US. And yeah, this is one of my favorites. That's something that not a lot of people talk about. So this is the QQQJ. The QQQ, the Nasdaq, is the top 100 tech names on the Nasdaq. The QQQJ is the next 100. So the barring those top 100, what are the next 100 top names on the Nasdaq? And this looks way more constructive and actually closed positive yesterday. Had a strong day yesterday. So if you took out the Mag 7 and the top giant, mega, awesome, huge guys, and you just went to the next 100 down, well, they did great yesterday, so they don't care about NVIDIA. And this chart actually looks really, really constructive and really, really strong, still in that tech area. And then this next chart is just the IWM. So we have small caps right up near all-time. If you turn on a weekly chart and you just look at the closes, which I know is a little bit, squinting, but all-time closing highs. There's a chance that if this market turns and bounces a bit, the IWM's down a little bit this morning, but we could be at an all-time closing high in the IWM. So 2,000 of the smallest names out there. So I showed you the next 100 close to an all-time high of just tech, and these are the smallest 2,000 names, and they did an all-time high. And one thing I didn't hear a lot of people talking about is my last chart here. This is RSP. I talk about this all the time. This is the same chart as the S&P 500, but just equal weighted. So it's no longer weighted to large cap tech. This is just saying I'm giving every company in the S&P 500, so the 500 largest companies out there, I'm just giving all of them kind of equal say to the index. Made an all-time closing high yesterday. So I really think, and this is something I've been pounding the table for a while, and I think I might have to for a while longer, is that we are so, for the last 20 years, we've been so programmed that the NASDAQ and the cap-weighted index works, and it's the best way to invest. And it's because it's proven to be the best way to invest for those 20 years, is you own the largest names out there, and then you do okay. Well, if those largest names are just going to continue to do what they're doing, which has been nothing for 6 months, if that's going to exist for another 6 months, I think there's just a lot of focus that's undeserved to them that for us, the people watching this show, active traders and investors out there, would be better spent ignoring them entirely. So I'm like this close to just muting NVIDIA from my Twitter feed entirely, because this is showing me that the average large cap stock made a new all-time closing high yesterday. That's where I want to kind of focus my attention. So I know that's a hefty rant, but I'm just saying we need to talk about the biggest companies because they're the biggest companies. But if they're not making me money and they're not putting food in my family, then who cares?
Let's calm down. Let's not be dramatic here about taking anything off lists and getting rid of things we don't necessarily need to. No, it's a good point. I think it's really easy, and we've had this discussion many times, it's really easy to get focused on the big shiny thing and miss what's actually happening in the overall market. So well said, I think. And there is an argument here, and maybe this is a topic for another day and a topic for another discussion, but there is an argument to be made here, I think, on the overall effect, and this is the narrative that I think most of media throws out there, that the overall effect of all of this spending that's happening, not necessarily with NVIDIA alone, but across all of big tech, if that doesn't play out the way they want it to and they expect to, then that could have a trickle-down effect and be more negative. But well, we could be here all day.
Yeah, but it just goes back to how these indexes are made up, right? They weren't always, the S&P 500 wasn't always 30% tech, because tech didn't really exist pre-2000. So it used to be that these indexes were mostly weighted to industrials and financials and healthcare and things like that. And that could happen again. And it doesn't have to happen by tech going down. It could just happen by tech moving sideways for years or a decade, whereas the rest of the market quietly moves higher and makes new highs. And then we could be looking back a couple of years from now, and maybe tech is not 30% of the market, but maybe it's like 15 or 20% of the market. Energy right now is only 3% of the market. that could be 5 or 10%. That wouldn't really surprise me. So if the market reweights itself over time by some stocks going up and some stocks not doing anything, then this just kind of sorts itself out eventually. And that's the beauty of how these markets are made up. It's just in the meantime, there'd be a lot of misfocus on the names that aren't doing anything because they're the largest. And then you're kind of behind the 8 ball when things kind of rebalance out.
Exactly. Just seeing a Microsoft OpenAI headline coming across here. Microsoft with a move downside a little bit on that. We'll get into that statement in a couple of minutes here. Michael Nauss, we'll leave it at that. Have a great weekend. We'll touch base again on Monday.
I'll talk to you Monday. Have a good one.
All right, guys, fantastic stuff. As always, let's take a look at some of the analyst actions here this morning. We're going to kick things off with the downgrades here, guys, and some lowering of price targets. We're going to start off with Zscaler Rosenblatt lowering its price target from $280 to $250. They're down almost 11% this morning, and it's continuing to bleed here, guys. CoreWeave also getting its price target lowered from $100 to $95 by Mizuho. You're down again almost 12% here. Duolingo down a staggering 25%, guys, getting its price target lowered to $101 and a neutral weight rating. Citibank giving that downgrade. Autodesk also getting the downgrade, guys. $365 was that price target to $300. Slightly positive here there this morning, almost 2%. Moving forward, we're going to take a look at XYZ Block, guys, up almost 20% here in the pre-market. $93 is going to be that price target. Morgan Stanley giving that upgrade and an overweight rating, so going from $72 to $93. Dell Technologies also getting the upgrade, guys, up 15% this morning. $175 was the initial target, now being raised to $180. Now, Rocket Lab also on the list. Negative 5.25 here, but with a price target increase to $90, apologies. And then also Novavax getting the nod, guys, getting a price target raised from $11 to $16 by H.C. Wainwright.
The downgrade looks pretty nasty, but there's one name on that upgrade side that, hey, outside of, if we didn't just go to Joe and have that upgrade, we probably wouldn't talk about Novavax. And NVAX, there's a bull market somewhere, and potentially here in NVAX, it's broken through. There's a lot of beat up names that people have been trying to bottom pick, or is this where everything turns, and yada, yada, yada. But this has already made its little very long smiley face. Like that is, it took a while. It basically took an entire year for it to form this bottom, but it's starting to come out on the other end. Broke the $10 just recently, and now you're overhead of some resistance here. The unfortunate thing today would be after yesterday's break through the $10 level, it's flat with no volume. So it's just, what are you gonna do? An upgrade isn't necessarily a catalyst in and of itself at all times to get you some trade action today, but if you're looking for kernels of strength into this falling market, here's another name. We talked about Netflix, we talked about the metals, we talked about energy that was pretty strong. There's some things out there that have shown some strength and hopefully could maybe follow through for you. Just wish there was better volume here for Novavax, but that was a pretty significant 10 break that it had, and one worth watching next week as long as it can hold on to that level. It's kind of turning the hump, or it gets rounding out and breaking out, and it's getting over the hump is what I mean to say.
Yeah, right now, not getting over any humps and actually going a lot lower right now is NVIDIA. So NVIDIA right now is down almost 2% and still going lower right now. I heard that DJT was starting to pop a little bit there.
Well, there's a story here.
Yeah, okay. Good move there for DJT, man. 1080 up to 1120. We'll have to see what's going on there. OpenAI and Microsoft talking about, continuously working together. I think we'd hoped that. But look at Microsoft losing the bid as well. Wow, this is going to be... I don't know, man. Yesterday, I was like, I didn't feel like we were going to have a great day today, and it doesn't look like it's happening for anybody here today, as well as all the big boys. As Michael just mentioned, there's so many other stocks out there, and we just looked at one, but... the dog that wags the tail are all these names. So hopefully they'll be able to find a bottom here at some point. Nice to see MARA up on earnings. So not that it really matters. It's south of $10 right now, but nice to see Marathon Digital. That's had a couple of good days there, basing, wow, down near $7. Nice move back to 10 there for Marathon. So there are some good spots here. And but anyways, all right, it's 8:44. Yeah, not much to do other than looking short for me today. I just put the sticky note out. Go check it out. But yeah, a lot of those names are going to be short. And then just a quick check back on silver. You know, one of the longs that we want to grab as well. So I was like long back to VWAP. So we're getting close to that right now, 82.50. So getting ready for some 82.50 bids to pop through here on SLV. All right, good job on that one. Thanks, Michael. Thank you to Joseph. Check out our Trader TV Academy. That's up and live right now. Everything you need to know about learning, you know, missions, all the online videos that we have. It's an online portal. Go grab it. It's not, the QR code's coming up at tradertv.academy. Go to tradertv.live and grab that as well. These are all videos. Here's like, you know, about our software. You can quickly go in here and see there's 8 lessons, 12 topics. You can start the course right here. There's 45 of you enrolled in this course alone right now. Brendan, Sharif, Neil, Sean, we're all here. All videos, stop orders, basket orders, quote board, imbalance locator, charting basics. Like, they're all right here. All the stuff that we use, and at the end, you know, as per usual, there's a little quiz there, so get ready for that. But yeah, all these things that we talk about and use live on our show are all right here as well. So it's a must-have for traders looking to educate themselves, and it's the Trader TV Academy. Make sure you do go sign up for that ASAP. All right, back over there. It's 8:46. Still got a while to go before this market even opens.
We did get a super chat here.
Oh, good.
And, you know, we don't want to believe that to be true, but the Guilty Gunner 007, great gang, Golden Iran building long-range nuclear weapons, wartime. This is one of the reasons, regardless of what you believe will come of what's going on in the Middle East right now, how deep a conflict might be, let's be real. That's why energy has been relatively weak. You're going to see 3.5% to the upside. That's why I have Oxy on my mind today after its earnings breakout. You've just had a good trend, and that's the way to express the. Well, that's one of the ways to express the trade. Heck, I completely forgot when all this was popping off. There was that like Indo's this small cap with a high short float energy company like Indo, in some Indonesian energy company, and that thing only ever moves and it does nothing, and then when we get any turmoil, it starts picking up as a small capper, it's starting to squeeze. So energy names are going to be in play today. But that's the way I'll look at it. Oxy only because it was after the earnings, and it did a nice long bull flag here after their report, holding that $50 level. So yeah, we do have that on our mind as we'll go through these and other names. We head back on up to the desk. Oh, by the way, there was the DJT. There was news on that DJT pop. It was Trump Media Technology Group and TAE Technologies and Texas Venture Acquisition 3, I guess there must have been 2 others, have announced discussions regarding a spin-off of Truth Social. So remember, DJT did this whole, hey, we're now an energy name too, but they could look to spin off Truth Social as a standalone. That is the headline. That's why DJT is on the move. Let's head back to the desk.
Sam Altman making some comments right now. There's a $110 billion funding round OpenAI just closed. Part of which, and I think this goes to what you were saying, part of which includes $80 billion from Amazon. So I mentioned there was a statement from Microsoft on the tie-up between Microsoft and OpenAI. They were just trying to reassure everyone their relationship's still fine, nothing has changed. They still have exclusive access to the API, et cetera, et cetera. But this Amazon side of things comes into play now, and it was Amazon and SoftBank combined for that $80 billion, but $110 billion now. Deal is done.
Yep.
Altman just saying as well, they're open to going public at the right time, which I think is the first time he's actually said that.
He's acknowledged it publicly now. Yeah, this is interesting, Brendo. So NVIDIA throwing another 30 or 50 billion. Hold on. 30 billion from SoftBank, 30 billion NVIDIA, 50 billion Amazon. And what I think the Amazon, as you mentioned, probably the more important angle here because they have cloud. And we know that OpenAI was using exclusively Azure as part of the tie-up between Microsoft and OpenAI initially. And that hasn't been the case for a little bit of time now, right? Because they've been diversifying using AWS. And you've got to assume here, even though the article doesn't say it, that Amazon is going to expect AWS use if they're going to invest $50 billion. It becomes that circularity, again, that we've been talking about, more players involved in that circle down.
But is this a demand thing more than a capacity thing? I mean, maybe they just can't get what they need from Microsoft alone and need, to free up more space.
Well, exactly that. And I hate to digress into another earnings report, but you and I are just talking off camera about CoreWeave.
Go for it.
Guys, CoreWeave is still using the A100. It's by no means a first-class chip nor a recent generation chip, but their A100 pricing for CoreWeave went up, and their utilization time is almost maxed out for the A100. So if that's not, indicative of heavy demand, I don't really know what is. And it kind of puts the kibosh on Michael Burry's thesis that these chips only have a 2 or 3 year usability window. Clearly not, because the A100 is older than that, or is if as old, and it's still increasing in price, usage, and a lot of utilization percentage.
Unlimited demand, clearly. 900 million weekly active users on ChatGPT now. That's up from 800 million last time it was reported back in October. 900 million users a week.
Oh, I'm one of them, so I just gotta pretend. I'm not gonna pretend. I still use ChatGPT for certain things. You and I talking off camera about this. Chat's still good for some things. Let's just be honest about it. It's not great for everything, but it's just like, you start getting more nuanced with it. You know what's good at what. And you tend to use them that way. You and I were talking as well. Grok and Gemini seem to be really good for current events because they leverage X and they leverage Google's indexing. So if you want something current, they seem to be the go-to. But if you want some more deep research, obviously Claude is there. If you're looking for coding, you need Claude as well. Summaries, I use Chat. I find Chat to be a little bit better for summaries than some others. But again, super, super specific.
So Altman also just making a statement here clearly, as long as revenue keeps growing, then these deals are not circular.
Okay.
So we'll have to see how the growth on that goes. But anyways, if you missed it again, 110 billion funding round just closing here for OpenAI, which includes a ton more from Amazon. And this all started, remember, there was a statement released from Microsoft just reassuring everyone on the investment side, saying their deal with OpenAI is still the same. They still have exclusive access to the API. Their Azure usage remains the same. Nothing has changed. But Amazon now a big, big player in this conversation along with SoftBank. So, and that also kind of brings in the conversation of Amazon and Anthropic, I think, which is going to be, I mean, something could happen with that today with the DoD.
Well, that's the thing. So the deadline came and went yesterday. And what's his name? Amodei Dario is his name? Dario?
Yeah.
Dario Amodei. Yeah, sorry, guys. I always forget his name. He came out and he put his foot down. I don't know if you guys have heard the headline, but the Department of Defense wanted Anthropic for a couple of different reasons. They wanted to be able, well, according, if you believe Anthropic, they wanted to use it for surveillance as well as autonomous military decision-making, both of which Anthropic said no to. And so the deal, or the deadline, as I said yesterday, came and went. And now there are possible repercussions for that. They could declare them critical to the supply chain, and another designation as well, which kind of would force Anthropic to go along with the Department of Defense. But, it seems like, why are they putting their foot down with Claude here? Yeah. Is there something more to this? Like, are there not other AIs that they could utilize? That's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is when you hear about the Maduro, let's call it event or operation, they were using Claude in real time. So clearly they like it more than others.
Yeah. The head of our tech in this building has basically said that Opus 4.6, the release of Opus 4.6, is the equivalent in significance to when ChatGPT launched.
That's crazy.
It's that much better and that much further ahead than anything else at this point. So I didn't see this initially, but Amazon also commenting on this investment, saying they're able to tailor OpenAI models for use across all AI products. Again, that's from Amazon. So lots of AI-related stuff there, guys. But Amazon kind of back and forth here on this. Initially downside, it's come right back up a little bit, but moving on this note anyways.
Yeah, moving with the markets. Unfortunately for Amazon, well, fortunately, at least for us, it's not that hard to find where the key price is going to be on Amazon. But unfortunately, it's the fact that the prior support is very clearly now resistance at 210, 211. So, you know, this is something where even if we get a pop today, like if the market decides to pop, if we decide to run Amazon at above 210 into that 211, just looks like a fade, and it'll look like a fade next week just based on that pattern. You know, it's unfortunate, but as Michael was sort of saying, the concerns here really are they're not going anywhere, and I feel like you almost need to get cheaper to get to the point where these mags and the hyperscalers, people are going to feel better about them. Like they want to be able to say, hey, that's now so cheap, it's a value. I'm now looking at, I can't turn my head away from a sub 20p or something like that. I think that's kind of where I feel that we're at with some of these names, and we're just not at that point yet. So you've broken a lot of trends, a lot of uptrends recently. You're underneath a lot of 200-period moving averages, and so for Amazon, you know, I would love to be bullish on it. I own Amazon, but I can't be, at least until you're not. If you break back above 210 at some point, which I don't see happening today, then I feel a little bit better about it. I'm just talking about them specifically because that was the topic. Yeah, I just cannot feel. I can't feel great about it. Something we were just talking about too is, you know, Sam Altman, he's a visionary, but I don't know that he always speaks in a language or a manner that makes us feel better about things. It's like it's like the way he'll phrase it actually makes it seem more circular than not. It's, you know, as long as revenues go up, then it's not circular finance. Well, like, okay, like that's not like that's the fear. That's exactly the fear, is what happens when these things slow down and everything is still expensive and you're increasing and everybody's increasing debt loads. That's exactly the fear. You're not making anyone feel better by saying that. So I think it's more of the same until proven otherwise. But at that 210, I don't know if we get there today. I feel like that's kind of a long shot that you get that short.
Look, at least back in November and December, we were sitting here and I was saying there's no way 2026 was going to be anything like 2025 for a lot of these companies. Now, I wish I would have, you know, pulled the chute when I was talking like that, because, you know, here's Microsoft just falling off a cliff, and we just talked about OpenAI and all these guys going. It's been just a horrible, horrible year for most of these big names. And it's just like, where will they find a bottom? I don't know, but I think we're getting pretty close. I mean, it's been really washed out to the downside. And as we learn more and more about the business models and how AI is going to affect some of these companies, a name like Microsoft probably needs to start going back up to the upside to get a little more confident. And again, one of the big holders in the IGV ETF, big weighting in the IGV is Microsoft. And it's down another 3% today. So we get like 1 or 2 days bump there in software, and now just coming right back down in and trying to cover up yesterday for sure right now. And then we'll wait to see if we can break even lower on this. But what a horrible start to the year for many of these mega cap names. And it just starts getting worse and worse for NVIDIA. We just touched 181.50. So, you know, forward PE of 18 or something for NVIDIA seems like dirt cheap. Like, why is NVIDIA under the market multiple right now? You know, so there's going to be buying opportunities, and I think it's getting like pretty darn close. Whether or not you think AI is going to ruin so many of these companies, NVIDIA is the one that's helping that become true. So I think this is getting wrongfully hit off earnings this much anyways. So wrongfully or not, man, the market does not lie, and we just have to play the trades that we wind up seeing. And AMD would be another one of those situations where we're not too far away from its all-time highs of like 250, 260, but you are still making that pull down again. And you know, like I was saying, back in November, December, you know, if you're able to predict anything, there goes AMD right now and trying to figure this out near that 195, 196 area for the 200 period moving average. So yeah, AI will bring down a lot of names, but you know, there's ways to invest outside of AI, and that's why we keep talking about, you know, the Johnson & Johnsons, the Proctors, these energy plays as well out there right now with oil. Like oil's ripping even higher right now. CLJ. I have to see if this is the most volume there. But there it is, another 4% going higher right now is oil. And you could see the sort of trend that's been on, right? And it's been an easy one too. Like there's the break there of 61 bucks. Oil was trading at $120, you know, pre-Ukraine Russia. So, you know, I think that was a 3 or 4 year mark for that. So oil does have a lot of room to the upside. So if you wanted to get excited about something, I would say energy is the right space. XLE right now up 1.4%. This is going to be the trade today. It looks like energies, metals, and you know, heavy assets. That halo trade could be going today as well. Gold also upside, copper, everything. Marvell just got a little bit of a bump. I saw over 80 bucks again.
Yeah.
Now just doing nothing. I don't know what it was there. I heard something about it. And then yesterday we had donut going. We could look at, oh, I wonder what that ATLB is doing. A donut, $4. Okay, down here. ATLB was a name that yesterday, sorry, ALTB. Yeah, ALTB. ABLT? It was Avalon, right?
ALB.
So that's what I typed in the first time. Okay, I mean, I thought that's what I said. Underneath $1 right there. And then the other one was Rackspace yesterday was going, and that hit 250. And then we were talking about that level there. It looks like we got going through that level of 250 in the post market, now back down a little bit. This could be an interesting name to look at today. Really got going yesterday off of some of these levels right now. $2. So we'll see about Rackspace today as well. Bitcoin 66.2. That seems to be making a little bit of a move here as well. All right, man, it's 9 o'clock. Yeah, it's watch list time, 9 o'clock. Let's go back over to the desk. You can get the watch list from us, link in description, free delivered to your inbox daily. Back to the desk, talk to the boys.
Right in the middle of the range we go, Katina, man. We closed out yesterday at 689 and a third on the SPY. Yeah, that's what I mean. We're kind of caught still in the middle of that range that we've been in since mid to early December. We're selling off a little bit now, so we've clearly lost yesterday's close. We're down 0.75%. So the first area we're going to look to hold. If we continue to sell off, we're looking to the 23rd lows, Brendo, 681 as support. If we start catching a bid, we're looking to yesterday's closing print, 689 and a third as resistance.
If you haven't done so yet, make sure you jump down to the description below. Top link there will get you to the watch list sign up page. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you grab that. It's absolutely free every single day. It comes right to your inbox with everything that is moving around on it in the pre-market, including CoreWeave. Top of the list here this morning. CoreWeave downside in a pretty big way. We're just bouncing off 85 bucks right now, but this thing's, what is this, better part of 20 bucks almost. Not great luck. This is the overall analyst view on this stock right now. 5 indifferent, 3 somewhat bullish, 6 bullish. So it's still skewed to the positive side of things, even though, as you're going to mention here, some of the details in this report not great.
The demand's through the roof.
Yeah.
I just want to make that very clear. It's just the CapEx and they missed. So let's get right down to it. Revenue, $1.57 billion. That's a slight beat above the 1.55 expected by analysts, with revenue growing a very healthy 110% year over year. The loss per share, though, and that was the miss, 89 pennies. That's way wider than the 49 pennies the street was looking for. Adjusted EBITDA also a little bit shy of 900 million. That was also below analyst expectations. Now let's talk about the guide. Q1 revenue projected to be $1.9 to $2 billion, again below the 2.29 expected. However, when you look at full year 2026 revenue guidance, they're guiding above 12 to 13 billion. The consensus there was 12.09. And here's the deal. They ended the year with 850 megawatts of active power. That's above analyst expectations. But this is probably what sent the stock down. They're forecasting, Brendo, 30 to 35 billion dollars in 2026 capex. They spent 10 and a third last year, just to give some context about how much they spent. But the backlog here is why they're spending, boys and girls. $66.8 billion is what their backlog is. That's up from $55.6 billion last year. And they're saying, look, we're diversifying a little bit. It's not just the hyperscalers who are getting compute from us. It's sovereigns as well as other enterprises. So nice diversification.
As you said, unlimited demand still. Back to, this is a weekly chart, back to essentially the middle of the range here for the past couple of months anyways. But key support, guys, coming into play here.
Well, yeah. Well, some key support actually just got lost too, so there's that to consider. But you triple the capex there. You can say all you want about the backlog, but everyone else that's getting punished for that spend has other businesses to fall back on and other ways to generate cash and is already making money. These guys are losing money. So I think it gets a little bit more difficult to justify them when we're punishing names or when names are getting punished. I shouldn't say we. Like, I'm not the one sitting here shorting all these names this quarter that have beaten on earnings. But support is gone. Recent support was at that 88 level. Now there was one tick underneath on massive volume back last week where you held about 84.5, 85 bucks. So we're in the kind of, not no man's land, but you're in this little void from 85 to 88, where if it can come out on top at 88, then Neil's not going to say I'm shorting this name. But if you don't come out on top, I think it's an easy breakdown kind of play on CoreWeave. That said, there's a few other names I might like a little bit better today, because I like a continuation on QBTS and some of the quant names. If we're going to have a red day, I like the things that already showed me that they had sellers. But yeah, I think this void between 85 and 88, that'll be a key one, because if it breaks out to the upside, then it's pretty easy to get away from it. You reestablish some support, and then you're back into the chop zone. It also works out to be the 50-period moving average, simple moving average on the daily as well here for CoreWeave. But I mean, come on, they're not making money yet.
No, these guys suck. But at the end of the day, it's a 12% short float, and I think it's going to pop from here, man. I think there's a good opportunity that it looks to me like Trade Desk did yesterday. Although Trade Desk, of course, had fallen from much more graces than where we have from here, although the high of 190 seems pretty interesting. I don't know if I believe that $66 billion backlog that they have. They only had sales of 1.52 billion. So if they have 68 billion or 67 billion in backlog, I'd like to see that. I don't know why that's getting, hit so much. If they have that much backlog, why can't they they can't make money with their current sales. It'd be interesting to see if they can somehow turn this around. But yeah, I'm not feeling good about any stock today. So I would just talk about CoreWeave as potentially looking for that SSR bounce, right? And what it was yesterday was the pre-market highs was something that you had to take if you were looking for Trade Desk, right? It was a very, very simple trade. You go long on the break, and if it doesn't hold, you just punch right back out, and that's it, man. Bob's your uncle. So I would say VWAP right there as at 86. I'd like to see a break probably, that's 730, a break of, it's not really going to matter. If it's going to go, it's going to go. And 50 cents here or there is not going to matter. But 86.50 or so on a break long, and that's probably going to happen immediately. So if you're feeling, lucky today and you want to hit something, I think CoreWeave could be the one. It's going to do a lot of volume today, and 86.50 or so for an upside play. Other than that, it's just everything bleeds down. And if you're looking for short, I'm only saying that because I think it's similar to yesterday's play. Duolingo's down a little bit too much. Today down 25 or 26% to possibly get a rebound. This is only down 12% right now. So I would say that you're either gonna hope that you get that break long, or honestly just a break down and then use VWAP or the 50 period or the 25 as you're out, probably the 50, $85 breakdown. So yeah, you're right there. CoreWeave's not going to be in this $1 range.
No chance.
So it's hard to give a judgment right now because the pre-market's not really giving us a direction on CoreWeave. I can't see how these guys are just burning through cash. I can't see how this is going to be a good name to hold in the portfolio until we settle out. Until NVIDIA starts really going up, someone's got to keep paying these guys. I don't know who that's going to be. So the $66.8 billion backlog is very, very interesting to me. But anyways, CoreWeave, I like the long just on a short sale restriction rule. So yeah, watch out for 86.50 breaking long.
Right, Netflix back to the upside right now, just broke 92. Once again, trying to head higher. This isn't going to move anything, but Altman's still making some comments here on that Anthropic side of the story, essentially saying that the DoD shouldn't be threatening these companies.
Shouldn't be.
No. But, obviously he's going to say that, and maybe he wants that deal instead.
Exactly. I think he'd take that.
The same.
All day.
Yeah, so Netflix, if you missed it, walked away from the deal. It's done. Finally, we can stop talking about this.
Yes, I know.
Hopefully.
Well, now we just got to actually get Paramount
Yeah.
to finish the deal, right? So there's still that, Brendo. So WBD's board deemed that Paramount Skydance's revised all-cash offer of $31 a share was superior to Netflix's $27.75, so it didn't even need to go to the shareholders. This was determined by the board itself, which was against the Paramount deal, if you guys will recall. Paramount's bid covers the entire WBD business. That includes the pay TV networks like CNN, TBS, TNT, so all the legacy stuff. Netflix had 4 business days to match the offer, but they declined to do so, choosing to walk away. And if you guys don't know, Paramount did raise their bid to $31 a share from $30, and the deal includes a $7 billion breakup fee if the regulatory approval fails. We're talking about Paramount's and Warner's now regulatory approval. $7 billion Warner would be entitled to if the regulator says, Paramount also agreed to cover the $2.8 billion breakup fee that WBD would owe to Netflix. And co-CEOs Tetse Sarandos and Greg Peters said the deal was attractive, Brendo, at the right price, but with the higher bid by Paramount, they said it was no longer financially attractive. They said WBD was nice to have, but not a must-have.
We're basically back to, like, if you zoom out on this, we're basically back to before the breakout, essentially, the middle of the range here before the breakout. So is that it? Maybe we get things going in the right direction finally, but is that it? We'll have to see. We get all of that back all in one shot.
Ooh, yeah.
Versus, you know, some sort of sustainability, but it's done, I think.
Well, we'd like to think so, but before we get into that, we do have a super chat from David Clark here, so we'll just get this loaded. PPI, WTI, Brent Metals, Iran, will this get passed on to the consumer? Will we see damage to the Nasdaq and the AI trade? Well, I feel like we're seeing the latter part of that. Like right now, we're already seeing damage to Nasdaq and the AI trade, but the first part, yeah, higher costs. If they persist, get passed on to the consumer. How long they will persist is really that's the question. It's I don't know how things are going to play out in Iran. I don't know that anybody knows. Somebody knows, but we don't know. But it hangs on long enough. Yeah, that eventually gets passed on to the consumer. But for Netflix, I do think, look, this is a weekly chart. This is an obvious trend break on Netflix. We had a consolidative hold week to finally get something green after a few months of downside. And we're gonna close this week up at 90. Well, right now we're at 92, so like well above that 90 level. So this is a trend breakout, a reversal, I should say, not really a breakout, a reversal. I only want to be looking long, but when I was finding levels, I went up to like the 30-minute, I came up with the 87. So there's like 87 and 90 were the only ones I loosely liked, and I liked 87 better than I liked 90. So I don't know if there's going to be an obvious dip buy for me, unless this just starts trending like it was yesterday, where you get it to hold VWAP and it just starts making higher lows, and then you can try to do the join trade. I feel like that would be a better approach, unless it just pops right in and bounces off 90 off the open, or it gets down to 87. This might be a little bit of a pass for me on Netflix. But I do believe in a swing sense. I did buy in front of the 80 level. So like I bought on the way down and not on the way back up. I wish I had a chance to pick some up yesterday, again, at the same price, but hindsight will be 20/20. But I think this can get you, I think this reversal, at least, can get you back into the 100 to 110 level, that 50 period on the daily.
Yeah, look, it was tough. I saw some people in the chat saying like, wow, what a tough hold. And yeah, we had, the lowest I was able to buy it was like 86 and change on Netflix. And I just, obviously, like we were saying there, down to 75 would have been real nice. But it's the same story that we kept on saying over and over again. And that is that if Netflix can figure itself out and potentially bail on this deal, things were actually going fine. They split the stock. It was really cruising. Didn't really like the split. Then the Warner Brothers deal started to happen. And right now you're back over this 192, breaking through the 50-period moving average. I do think this name goes back to this 108, somewhere in here, 104 to 108 right now, as they've sort of unlocked some of that cash back now. They can start to focus. They talk about putting $20 billion to work on new content and things like that. So just get back to what they were thinking about doing in the first place. I mean, there was many many analysts out there that didn't really like the Warner Brothers deal to begin with. So now they can relieve that pressure and just get going back upside and focus on building the business. So yeah, I like Netflix. I think AI really helps these guys analyze the data better, pump out the right programming to the right people. I like Netflix as a long. So down here into 89, I think works. That's a 200 period moving average. But my eyes are not going to be on this today. I just, interesting to see what winds up happening with it. That's for sure. View up's at 91. But for me, it's going to be a little bit of a pass on that. I'm just really glad that, hey, awesome area to buy. We did it. Now we're long Netflix at a great price in a stock that I think has a lot of upside catalysts. So yay, Netflix. Thankfully, it made this move back higher. It's only 10%. I mean, this thing could fall back in right into the price that I bought it at. And if it does that, I think I'll buy more. Like, I like that base down there now near $80. And, we'll see if Netflix can hold it. Good stock so far. WBD, that deal's going to be done at $31. We'll see how that works out now. There's still lots of, hurdles to get through. And we'll just, I think it was supposed to be done maybe third quarter, something like that. So still a lot of upside to go here for Warner Brothers if you're taking that cash. So maybe figure that out. And we talked about how this market is just so uncertain now. Well, there's like a 6 or 7% premium here that you can grab on Warner Brothers. If it's 31, you can almost get 10%.
It's trading like it's not going to close until mid next year.
Yeah, but I even think even that's probably a decent return if you can even get like 7 or 8% on this for 1 year holding Warner Brothers. So congratulations to anybody that's been long Warner Brothers all year. It's been a huge winner in the last 52 weeks. And yeah, this was a $7 name going out at 31.
August almost over now.
Yeah. All right. I love the wide angles there. I was going to say, where's Andre? But it's Fabian. If you zoom out on block, it's still a disaster. XYZ, we're right. It's hard to see, but we're right here. Essentially, this morning is a weekly chart. This thing's done nothing since COVID. And that was COVID, if anyone was wondering. It's been in a range ever since, and we're just back to the middle of it.
Yeah, this is, they reported earnings in case anybody cares, because the headline here is certainly not earnings. It is the 4,000 employees, sadly, who will lose their job as part of this kind of ripping off a Band-Aid workforce reduction. They had about 10,200. They will have just under 6,000 as a result of this restructuring. Nearly half of the company's workforce is gone. CEO Jack Dorsey framing the move as proactive and AI-driven. Management prefers this one-time decisive action rather than what he called multiple cuts, which will affect the morale of the current employees. People don't know if they're going to get laid off or not. The CFO said the restructuring kind of positions Block for the next phase of long-term growth. The company intends to operate smaller, highly skilled teams, and Dorsey expects widespread workforce restructuring across corporate America. So he's saying, we're just the first. But we also know, Brendo, Pinterest, CrowdStrike, Chegg, they've all made workforce reductions, and they all specifically cited AI. We didn't see that with Amazon, who tried to kind of bob and weave, maybe because they're so big and they were worried about the PR repercussions. But this is not a company who's losing money. No. This is a company who grew gross profit at 25% year over year, and a company who's bringing in $12.2 billion per year. So they're not in trouble. This is more margin expansion.
It'll be interesting to see now going forward, as we were saying earlier, whether this kind of clears the table and opens the door for others to start doing the same thing, which is unfortunate, but the world we live in right now. Down move right now, guys. How quickly does this get faded today?
Well, it's already starting to get faded, but on top of the fact they make money, as Shreve said, the EPS guide beat by over 10% too. So like the guidance was good. As well. And so much got made of the cost cutting, I think, and the layoffs that you kind of missed a decent enough quarter. Unfortunately, this market doesn't seem to, the market's not cooperating even like a small bit here. Like, as this was holding, we just broke down once already. So if you were, like, in my opinion, if you were thinking that this was a gap or a gap fill short, then you probably were looking at 65 in the VWAP break. In terms of possible support, this is just the 50 period sits at 61.7. So that'd be one spot to look for a bit of a bounce. But because there's so much air out there, like you're now under VWAP, unless even if you got to that price, I do like this one going forward. I just don't think it's a catch a falling knife in this kind of a gap situation. I'd rather it make a bottom early in the session and look for almost like a lunchtime bounce on block. I'd rather play it that way. Like, let it do its thing and play the positivity on the back end, not necessarily right away. Maybe after 10 o'clock, we'll see how the 15-minute looks, but not at 9:30 after it's not now lost the volume weighted average price. This will be a pass for me.
So I've block written down at $60. So let's see, man. 40% slash in the workforce. I like the stock down there. If we can pull back a little bit. Brendan said, well, when does it start to tank? Probably immediately. And if it does, let's wait for $60 here on block. So that's going to be just a level that you know, like the even dollar level. If you're going to zoom out, there's not going to be anything here because we've sort of already made that move. But there's the 50-period moving average. We'll see if it can wind up holding. If we do drop down $3, like Sharif had mentioned back there, you know, profitable company, working in the right way. Going to now use AI, obviously, to their advantage. And yeah, it does suck for those employees. That is for damn sure. I mean, it's going to be really hard, I feel like, to go out there and, you know, try to find and replace a job, even though they gave you 20 weeks. $5,000 and all that stuff that I was talking about. Very hard to go out there and get a job of equal value, I would assume. So I do feel that that's horrible, and I hate to, you know, see a stock move based on that reaction. But you know, that is what the market is, and it's a stock market and it's an economy, so we got to deal with it. But there's $60. You know, it wanted to hold 60 until it didn't. You know, that move down is 57, 58, and that was actually held right there as well. So I'm still a small shareholder in Block. I you know, obviously we like this move, but you know, 58, $60, like in this area, I think is a buy. But we got to be patient and sit on our hands a little bit here. Catch the falling knife, yes, and then punch out if you're wrong. I think that's a good opportunity to look at $60, and if it comes through, then fine, but may not do that. So be very, very patient with it. You're underneath VWAP, underneath the 200-period moving average. It's actually setting up for a great short. Like if you're already short up here, all you had to do was watch this. Like if this happens in the middle of the day, this is a huge short for me and a great setup. So I would say it's looking short. We could get that 60 fill. If you don't like the 60 fill, try 59 to 58. Then breaking a 58, I think it's gone. I mean, that's it right there. So if we lose this level, then it's gone on the daily chart. So I would say between 58 to 60 is probably a buy here for XYZ.
We were just talking about Mac Minis and the simple fact that there's a funny picture that was floating around on Twitter with Jack Dorsey and a table full of Mac Minis. But you can't get them right now. No. They're just completely sold out. Bitcoin, let's go to crypto here. Downside this morning, downside over the past 24 hours or so. That's a 15-minute chart, so it gives you a little bit of context. We're back below 67,000, but also 66,000 coming into play here pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's gonna. I have a bias. It gets worse a little bit before it gets better, Brendo. But let's talk about what the actual data is rather than my bias. There was liquidations standing at 258.85 million. That is over the past 24 hours, despite the fact that there was good ETF inflows yesterday. We saw Bitcoin ETF saw about 254.5 million. That's just not IBIT. That's all the Bitcoin ETFs. On Thursday, Ethereum saw about 6.57 million in net inflows, but that's obviously not strong enough to hold up the price, Brendo. We're still ranging in that 60-ish zone.
Yeah, the feeling, however, pretty negative once again this morning for BTC.
So bad news first. The bad news is it's another leg down. It was 68,000 that was resistance recently. So some prior lows in here would be like 66.5, which we're trying to battle now. That's the bad news. I want to look short into that. The good news, at least it was a second ago, yeah, you were holding above VWAP a second ago. You're not anymore. So on IBIT, which is what I'll use the trading vehicle, what we use around here, the ETF just makes it easier. It would be that prior low, 37.8. I like fades into 37.8. Even if it broke higher, I added on the note, then I would just wait until it gets up to 38.5 here for the next level up out in front of that 68K level. So with Bitcoin, not much has changed, in my opinion. Like it's just a risk asset at this point, and when we're in the risk-off mode, I tend to think this is a short. And the reality is, even the days that we've been bouncing and the Qs are strong, you haven't had that crazy upside. Outside of Wednesday was a really only big sustained day or rally that you've had. Now, there's names out there that are going to do their own thing. I know Coinbase has been one that It was able to have a good day 2 days ago on a big runner when Bitcoin was going, but even it's starting to give back some of those gains. Mara did report, but if you're wondering why Mara is up, it's not because of Bitcoin. Mara is up because they're going the Iran route, right, which is moving into ways to power data centers and that infrastructure. So it's a shift in the business that has Mara higher. The crypto weakness is certainly here. I'm gonna throw this in because there's probably not another chance to talk about it in context. We've seen the metals be strong this morning. Silver, I threw on the note, and our notes are up on the Academy as well by everybody. So you can start your journey by scanning that QR code right now. The Trader TV Academy is live. We all post there on a daily basis. We're all involved in the community. There's lessons, the simulator you can use, journaling. There's multiple modules and aspects of the program that are valuable to all stages of a trading journey, but especially to beginning traders. And on the note this morning that I posted up, you're not going to see the prior resistance turning into support unless an abject disaster happens on SLV. But what I can pivot to is this high from 2 days ago, which would be about the 82.5. So, that's the only place to go. I wanted to buy in front of top, so prior high would now be this prior high from a couple of days ago. So yeah, crypto still looking incredibly weak, or relatively weak, I should say. Incredibly is not, it's not at that point yet.
We made some big trades on crypto this month, and I feel like we could make another one here today. Short 38 on IBIT. Long, and I said VWAP because, when we wrote this down for silver, it was at 81 bucks when I had made this note at 8 a.m. But the one name that's kind of holding up right now would be Bitcoin. So I'll put this, you can go find it on X or on Instagram, the sticky note. But here's IBIT right here. Yeah, man, it's kind of holding out okay. I don't know, crypto seems to be battling fine now today. So I don't believe it. So we'll short in and around 38 bucks. That's kind of like yesterday's closing price. So, we can get interesting with it if we hold it up to 38.20 or so. But for me, 38 I think would be the top, and we can admit that we're wrong if it does break above 38 bucks. So for me, that would be a look there on IBIT. And then, like I said, when earlier on today, when we were sitting here and coming in, and I get in around 7:30 or so, silver was 81 bucks, and I was like, okay, well, if we drop down into 80, that at that point was where the 200 period moving average is. So we'll wait around 81.50 or so, see if we can get something there. VWAP's at 82.50, so we said that could come into play. I'd rather not take that immediately, but if we do bounce around VWAP, you got to play the long where the names are strong. And with only 4 minutes to go, silver's one of the up names right now in the market. So it's something to look at, and that's SLV. You can also look at ZSL. And here's the imbalances are now out. So Netflix is now a bid. That goes to 93 bucks, shooting higher right there. So boom, really happy with that one, man. At least I can look at the account and say, hey, Netflix is going. But everything else getting crushed. So, yeah, that's the big one on here. There's not much else going on these imbalances. So, all right, man, Celsius, I didn't even look at it, but I guess I will now. Let's go find out the story with Celsius.
The coveted double upgrade coming through for Cell H from Bank of America this morning. There's not much. Earnings a couple days ago were better than expected. Gave all of that back in a hurry yesterday if you didn't check. Right back to essentially where we started from on the earnings move. But yeah, nice little pump there this morning on this upgrade.
Yeah, and Monster reported as well, a competitor of theirs, so keep your eye out on that if you're looking for a sympathy play. Here are some of the headlines, as Brendo mentioned. A lot of analyst commentary subsequent to earnings. TD Cowen raising the price target to 66 from 55. We've also got here B. Riley, Brendo, from up to 85 from 75. You've also got Roth Capital, Sean McGowan chiming in, basically saying he cites the company's better than expected results, and he's also boosting the price target to 67 from 65, an entire $2 there. B of A as well, as you mentioned, with a buy rating of $65. And last but not least, I don't know how to say this one. I've been told that I've been saying it wrong. It's not Stifle, it's Stifel or something like that. Stifel, okay. So maybe, there we go. I corrected myself. 60 up to 62, Brendo.
The headline sponsor of the U.S. ski team.
Got it.
Stifel.
Okay.
Cell H, guys, thoughts?
I don't mind day two
Netflix
plays
is ripping.
after report day. Netflix is continuing to go.
Netflix, there's something going on with Netflix right now. This just went to 96.08. right there as your high of Netflix. We were just talking about it, how much we like that there as they back away from the Warner Brothers Discovery deal. Let Paramount eat that one. But there it goes, man, all the way to the upside, $96. There goes Netflix. Maybe it's a little bit on our mind. But yeah, Celsius reported earlier.
Well, they did, but they're not the day two play that I'm interested in. That'll be the quantum names and specifically QBTS. So I'd rather, look, it was a short most of the afternoon into the close yesterday on QBTS. After IonQ had a good report, they had a bad report, so short the one that's weak. Into prior highs, 19.6, and then the 2030 level. Those are the levels I'm looking. Pop and fade on QBTS, but that Netflix move, certainly, hey, the market's not looking very good, but it is Netflix. Block pulled back a little bit after their cuts had them spiking. This is going to be a big one. They get $2.8 billion. That is 1/4 of what their revenues were. Sorry, not revenues, what their net income was for 2025. So that's a significant breakup fee they're able to add. And if the market didn't like the deal before, then all the more reason why you're getting this bounce here, Netflix. I do believe we had a. Okay, I just heard a Daryl walk by saying, just say it's not Netflix specific. Just now, a few names actually bounced. Yeah, Duolingo caught a huge bid there. Daryl was just saying. So right there in the last couple of minutes, Duolingo catching a bit of a bid along with Netflix. I don't know why that would be related, but it happened at the same time. I didn't see any bounce. It was right about the time that you would have expected a buy and bounce could have done it, but either way, a couple of names moving. One was good and better and looking better. The other was terrible and also looking a little better for Duolingo. So lots of earnings names to get through, everybody. Got silver, got QBTS on the mind. Obviously, day two NVIDIA is going to determine how the market does as we ring the bell for the final time this month. Yes. Because it's the last day of the month as well.
Yes, it is. Okay, yeah, U.S. market's now open. We'll wait to see what NVIDIA is going to do. It's bouncing around 181 right now. Hopefully, more of an upside play happening for NVIDIA rather than downside, of course. Apple making a move down pretty aggressively right here as well. Wow, Apple. Huge move down to 271 right now. Nice move right into the lows of the pre-market and yesterday's lows, sorry, Apple right now, wow. Downside as the market's turning around a little bit here and Apple making some lows right there. I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe we could pick up some Apple down here. That seems a little bit overdone to me. We'll try a little bit of Apple here. If it breaks through 270, then we are gone on this one. So we'll watch out for this. But yeah, Apple right now not doing the greatest, but we'll take a bid and see if we can hold out. Here it comes right through 270. So, you know, okay, there it goes. We never like to take a trade first thing, but we'll lose a little bit there, small amounts. There goes Apple to the downside. I mean, just was thinking what was going on. The market actually trying to do something here. There's a turnaround right there on the TQs. I didn't want to go short until we got to 48. 49, but we almost did 48.80 there. Nice little turnaround right now. Wow, yeah, Apple was interesting. I don't know what's going on.
That was kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was
there was nothing really happening. I checked some other Mag 7 names. Nothing was happening. Well, now it is. Okay, NVIDIA, load. NVIDIA just broke down to $180. Now 2.5% to the downside. QBTS, which I'm looking at, is already rolling lower. Bitcoin is not making much of a move. But you know what's going higher? As you were saying, load. I want to get back to this thing because I want to show you guys NVIDIA. Why is that still NVIDIA? Palantir just bounced.
Yeah.
So there you go. Palantir, there's no story that I'm aware of, but a big breakout for them.
They had a UBS upgrade. It was actually on our watch list.
It was a watch list. Yeah, but an upgrade that's a late reaction to an upgrade because it was trending down with the rest of the market. So they just went $2, 2 set upside. Huge bounce in Duolingo as DUOL is the SSR bounce du jour. Like that's about as big of a short sell restricted, dead cat bounces you're ever going to see on DUOL. Oh, unfortunately, QBTS has just lost a bid. Might have to try to short the pop. It didn't really play back into prior highs. It instantly wicked the top, and now starting to come back in here. Oxy I still like for a long, but we'll have to wait to see if that can hold on to VWAP. I wanted it down around that 52.
All right, we got a new position here. We're going to go long on SMR. Yeah, just to see, man. I mean, I was only going to go long off the 21 period right here, 25 period. 1270. If we break below that, then we're out. We're long at 1282. We just took some out at 95s and 98s there. As we try to go back, 90s and 98s. So hopefully we get back up to the upside and we can make a little bit of money on this SMR trade here. Yeah, just looking to see what's hitting on the scanner, and that's sort of where we found. Okay, SMR, wow. Making me forget all about that Apple trade right now as SMR puts us well in the green as it's starting to go higher right here. Good trade there on SMR. I took 6 times the shares that I did on SMR than I did on Apple. So just to let you guys know about that one. All right, yeah, I like the Palantir look here. You know what, let's look, wow, yeah, buddy. All right, let's go over to IBIT as well. Yes, SMR, okay, man, we're having a nice little run there. We're gonna go big time on SMR, so that's gonna be a good trade. We had said that maybe CoreWeave would be something to look at here today. Yeah, about it going SSR up. I mean, you don't have to have that trade. It didn't break. And then it broke the low. So there goes SMR. There goes CoreWeave right now down huge now for CoreWeave. All right, well, we got up there into 1320 and we were waiting at 1325. We didn't get the 1325 fill there on SMR. So maybe this one finally heads back to the low side. Maybe the Nasdaq's at a short level as well. I mean, we're getting close.
SoFi just got moked.
SoFi, yeah, okay. The market's trying to bounce back or bounce off this level here a little bit too.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are not going to the upside as the market is bouncing. SoFi just went 6.5% to the downside. Yeah. This is just pure possible continuation, unfortunately for SoFi, because after earnings, it got all the way down to $17.50. That would be your bottom. Wow, QBTS is really falling. I might have to go over and see if there's something going on in like Rigetti potentially. I did like the quantum name short. I'm not chasing the move. Thought there'd be a chance to pop. The market popped, so I thought we'd get a chance to short pops, but the names I was looking at didn't even bother popping. I might go, Rigetti's only breaking now, so I might try to take this one in lieu of grabbing our good friend, well, QBTS. It's not my good friend. Bitcoin's still looking okay. Silver is pulling back, so SLV is now pulling back into prior highs. That's at 82.5 from a couple of days ago and the volume weighted average price. If it can close holding, then I'll have my first position. Otherwise, got to go pay for some Rigetti locates because I just found out that, unlike QBTS, not free.
Yeah, I'm going long. I'm going to wait for 82 break. If this breaks back down through 82, then we'll get out of SLV. But right now, man, yes, SMR, this is the one for me. We also have a new position right here. It's the futures. So we're into the Nasdaq on this short. So let's see if that one wants to print right now. Okay, man, we are doing real well, man, on SMR and on silver. Wow, this is going to be... Let's go. We're already doing it here. We're already doing it right now. Okay, real early this time, man. It's 9:35. We're going to go 3 for 3 right now. Well, we have Apple out. Good thing that was out, actually. We can actually have a look at Apple. Yeah, okay, so that's gone. So we'll go 3 for 4 right now as SMR. We're cleaning that out on the high side here, man. When we see profits, like I said, 6 times the shares on SMR that we did on Apple. We like that one. And then SLV, we're light on SLV right now. I mean, we were trying to wait for this 200 period moving average to come through, which is why we triggered 82. We did get a little piece out there at 83. And then here we go again, man. We're doing it right now on the futures as well, as that's a TQQ trade, and that's starting to go a little lower here into the 70s. Let's put a bid there and get a 73. So there it is, man. We're doing it again for you here. Neil's long silver. I'm long silver. I'm short the Nasdaq and long Sam Michael Roberts as SMR. Let's go, man. This could be a monster trade. We're almost at our 1 daily goal, considering we went 0 for 1. It's a pretty good day so far here. Let's go. Let's take another piece out on SMR and see where that goes right now. But I think the futures are an interesting one, man. If that breaks above this 49.20, then we're going to get out of this one as well. But yeah, so far so good. We just hold on to all these things.
Yeah, so far so good. Although I did miss out on Rigetti. On QBTS. I did pay for locates on Rigetti to grab the breakdown as this tries to follow through as well. So down 5% already. Yikes. And QBTS was the preferred play. We got the silver long, but the other thing we wanted was supposed to be IBIT. And IBIT, hey, Bitcoin's relatively strong right now. It's not doing anything. We're inside range, hasn't broken up, hasn't broken down. If I like 37.8, then let it travel toward that price. You're just not getting a lot of movement over here. And IBIT and Oxy would have been the fourth name that I was watching off of the open. Occidental doesn't really break into prior high. It's actually taking out the top. So if it takes out the top, retracement to VWAP is something we like to say. WAP, whatever, doesn't matter. So VWAP will be about 52.7. Going to look for the long in Oxy. Remember, the oil names were strong all day yesterday. energy names, I should say.
Yeah, we love some energy names over here. Okay. Huh. Here we go is right, man. Here we go is right. There it goes, man. There goes SMR, like boom, straight to the high of the day here on earnings, right? And another name that got crushed, and we do have a good short float on this one. So there goes SMR. We just follow the plan, man. We're trying to show like what we're able to do around here, and you know, this is just another sort of thing that's in our toolbox. You can join the academy right now and see everything. We unveil, sort of turn back the curtain there and show you what, you know, how we learn and what we're looking at. But there's SMR right now, nice upside play as it continues to go. You know, just really obviously couldn't be happier with some of that. We did get a good, really great fill there on the Qs just to talk about what just happened there. Right back into the 50-period moving average. So I have only half of this left, but looking to get a little more at 49, and then we're going to try to respect this 49.20 area as an out. Could go wrong, right? This could all go wrong real quick for us. But SMR has been doing well, and yeah, that's funny because I was like, oh man, we're going to go 3 for 3, but I did forget about this Apple trade that lasted about 10 seconds. Small hitter for the Apple trade, but you know, still a losing trade, so we got to respect that. And you know, see where it goes from there. Apple, I still like it. Google's trying to go underneath as well and stay underneath its VWAP right now and trying to battle. It's only down 0.4, but it had a nice move higher right there, 303 and change. Yeah, hopefully the market can hold out. I mean, if NVIDIA starts bouncing, then this is not going to work. But yeah,
maybe
so far
not.
so good.
Maybe not. It was just pressing. NVIDIA was just pressing through 181. Looking, oh, now it's starting to go again. So there's some sellers here at 181 that are trying to hold it down, but it's doing a pretty good job of bouncing. Now, the thing about that, though, is in my opinion, if the Qs bounce heavy, then silver could pull this gap, right? So if it loses VWAP, I mean, there's not much support until you get down to 81 to 81.5. So if we lose the volume weighted average price, as they jump out of the trade situation, if we're getting that market rebound, IBIT's still not doing anything. I would have thought with this market bounce here that Bitcoin would at least be pressing into the short zone, which is like 37.8. It's not moving. So I don't want to force the action on this at all. Rigetti, which we jumped into, I'm going to fight a sneeze here, is holding underneath the volume weighted average price. I want this breaking into yesterday's lows, or sorry, afternoon support, I should say. It's not lows of the day, it was like 17.2 was that bottom. So again, nothing happening on Bitcoin, which is surprising given the fact that the market was trying to claw higher there. Thought we'd be shorting the pop, but we can be patient about it. Sometimes the bigger moves in Bitcoin happen a little bit later in the session.
Yeah, man, tons of things happening with what we're doing, man. We got to reload on that one. Now it's a big-time chicken dinner winner on the TQs, man. We said we're going to get 49s. We're just getting them all out at VWAP here. If we can get something at 80s, we just got a good bid there into the 70s as well, 75, 78s downside there. Next bid, let's just wait to see if we get some 64s now on the TQQs, and then we'll go from there. I actually have a bid at 76 too. So that should fill now. And then we'll wait for the lower take right now, man. This is going to be, I'm not sure we've had too many negative days this month. Wow, here it goes, man. We are really on one now. I mean, yesterday's trading was fantastic. Today's trading is absolutely fantastic once again. And it's just, you know, so happy to be here with you guys every single day and just do what we do best. Trading, talking the markets, hanging out, and, you know, really able to put some money into our pockets, man, and feed that family. And it's like what Michael Nauss said, man. He doesn't really care what stocks are doing. Let's just make enough money that we don't have to worry about it. And there it goes, man. TQ's nice downside play. Hey, we're day traders. I've got 3 positions on, and they're all in the money right now. So hopefully we're trying to prove our worth a little bit here as we hold out and see what we can do. Silver's the only one that is heading a little southbound, but again, I have 4 times the shares on the Qs. I have double the shares here on SMR. SLV was a very, very quick starter position for me. So nothing to worry about right now. We're waiting for 82 to come through on SLV as these futures just get lower and lower and lower. Now we're already at the day's goal, and it's 942 right now. I'm gonna put another bid here on the Qs. Maybe we get a little lower, maybe we don't. But yeah, so far, so did I just get that 63s? So, you know, I did not. So far, so good here as we go, and just looking to maybe pick up some more silver.
It's our good friend Can't Get Right. Mr. Neil, Mr. Sean, any news on AES? Have a great day. I'll defer to Adara on that one. Not that I'm aware of. I know she's already having a look, but I didn't see anything particularly on AES. AES, Alpha Echo, what's S? I don't know.
There is news. They rescheduled their Q4 and fiscal 2025 earnings call to March 3rd, 2026. Also, apparently, GIP and EQT are nearing a deal to acquire.
There was a buy rumor on them before.
Okay. Yeah, I guess back over here right now as we'll see a little bit of diamond hands. We have half left on the Qs, and we'll see how far this name wants to.
Well, I was gonna point out AES is flat out not moving.
Oh, boy.
That's all I was gonna say. That stock's not going anywhere. I did get Oxy off of VWAP. It's playing back into the high of the day. So energy names going higher when the market goes lower. I think that makes a ton of sense. So we like that was one of the only names we liked to alongside. Rigetti's back at the low, looking to pull back in. As Sean said, it's been a good month. It's been a good year. No questions. It's the last day of the month. Let's see if we can top it off. So the only thing that is not really bouncing is silver. That's the only thing that's really not moving. But hopefully we can get Oxy to break out that high of the day. I do feel like if we trend down for the rest of the session, this has a chance to continue this breakout. The 52-week high is up here at 53.3. So we're looking for that 1% move initially, and then anything after that's gravy.
Man, like, all I posted in the Trader TV Academy was feeling short. All I posted on Twitter was feeling short. When we came in here today, I said we're feeling short. I sat down to Sharif and I said, feeling short is going to be a disaster kind of a day. I don't know if it's going to be or not, but we'll take advantage of this move right back into the pre-market lows again and just start to, exit out of the majority of these trades because, look, if the long hits, great, man. We still have got silver long and we're still in shares here. We didn't get low enough to actually get that bid that we wanted at 82.20, but so far so good here on SLV. Hopefully that can battle back. Hopefully SMR can go as well, man. We haven't really been back into that 50 area yet for SLV. Our best stop is 33 or 34 there, our best take. And then we just got a 22. Maybe this one's about to fall down as well. Let's offer some more 08s. Oopsies. There we go. We'll get that one, and then we'll go for to Adara for numbers. Let's go over back and see what she's up to.
Chicago PMI, guys. Coming out now at any moment here, 57.7. So that is 57.7 versus the forecast of 52, the prior of 54. Hotter than expected here. A little bit of a bounce to get us on that last 3-minute candle here for the QQQ. We'll take a look at what the SPY is doing. But either way here, guys, notably hotter than expected Chicago PMI print, following hotter than expected PPI prints across the board. We will have some more numbers. I believe construction spending, yes, construction spending month over month. That'll be at 10 a.m. So you'll see me again in 15 minutes with numbers for happening now. Back to you.
Thank you again, Adair. Now Bitcoin is starting to head to the downside. So it didn't get to our price. We knew what we wanted to have. We didn't necessarily get it. So it'll be a bit of a disappointment, I think, for Bitcoin. We have another super chat from Zion. Zion Lala. Shout out to you. Shout out to your man, Luis Barbado, as well. XWell at $2 from 86 cents. Great day to trade a swing. Well, congratulations there. I know Luis usually goes short small cappers, but that's not the only way to play them. You can play them in either direction. So we haven't looked at too many small cappers today. Really, there were so many earnings names moving, it felt like you didn't necessarily need to have any. But shout out to you and good look on that trade. Those dollar breaks are fantastic. We missed one in the afternoon when AtLab. ATLB bounced off a clean $1 yesterday. Sometimes that dollar level can be good. Silver starting to break back through the volume weighted average price, starting to look good. But the secondary play for me will be up on silver, but we went to Rigetti when we didn't get QBTS. So it was a pivot to Rigetti. That just broke the volume weighted average price. QBTS. That one, which we like better. I'm going to cancel that order because we're trying to short it at 19.2. If it comes back into about 19.4, 19.6, that'll be the area that we look for. So silver, just as it was starting to break up, now we're coming back in. It went 82.5 to 83, just underneath the 83. But this could still take the low. And if it loses that low, I'm out. As a matter of fact, the next bounce, I might even take some more off of this one. It does not look like it wants to hold here on SLV. And with the market battling back upside, I think silver can fill the gap. And the initial idea was that 80 level. And if we see 80, then that's where we got to wait for it.
I'm reloaded!
Okay, man. There it goes again, man. Another reload there at 48.98. And then a nice dip down into the 70s again. Let's take a little bit of advantage on that one right there as we continue to go downside, I think. Remember where our stop is going to be. I'm actually going to change it now, 49.11s or so here on this. We were initially looking at for that 49. Yeah, let's just change it because you know what's the point of just letting it run right against us if this is what winds up happening? 49.12 out on that one. No more reloads. We just cashed out a little bit there at that downside. We just cashed out Patel on that downside. All right, 83, 84. We'll see what winds up happening right now on that play. SMR doing its own thing right now. Let's look for something else. All right, what's going on with PayPal right here today? We actually I want to look at Netflix as well.
Netflix gave it
44, 45 bucks. Right, NFLX here. Yeah, 92 bucks. Okay, not bad. There's that move up to 95, 96 on some imbalances, and then coming right back in right now. So Netflix probably a good little buy if we can break through this 92.50 area back there too. Said upside for Netflix. We'll see if that one wants to get going for sure. Right there, Google, Palantir, Intel, maybe. Okay, the futures just went upside there, so that's get stopped out. Oops, that's not.
Palantir is almost breaking the high.
There it is, right there. So we just get stopped out, and I'm pretty fine to do that right there. We may have to go long now, actually. What about a break of this? Oh no, that's that's too high. 50 bucks. 49. Yeah, we got to hold on a little bit for this one. The short might be right in this, but I did have to punch out there. As you can see, the market's really retracing back upside. So yeah, buddy, good trade there. All right, here goes silver. We'll take another advantage of this and take a little bit out here on SLV as we're still in this name, obviously, and we didn't average into it. We didn't do much with this, so we'll see if we can get an offer there near O's, and then if we can break back above, man, we'll take another offer northbound of 83. But we just bounced off of the 50-period moving average right there. So, yeah, as of right now, not a whole bunch going on with SLV for me, but good trade. We'll try to dip buy again at that 82 level if that does come through. Just waiting for SMR to go really at this point. We've got silver. SMR is trying to bounce off VWAP. That is what it is. And then the TQ is just hovering around this level. Might be a decent spot to look to get a little short now, but we just lost on our last reload. So still going to be my PL number one there. And there goes silver. This will be PL2, obviously. No, sorry. SMR is PL number one. TQ's 2, silver 3, and then we lost on Apple, which is now up. But Apple 269.
Apple's green already?
No, not green already. No, up from where we got it.
Gotcha.
I think there's going to be some names that are probably starting to turn green.
Well, I would have been surprised if one of them had been Apple. But for me, the best one's going to be silver. It's the one that's going to be the cleanest. No questions asked. But I'm finally into QBTS instead of Rigetti, which was a secondary choice. But as the market goes higher, Oxy loses our support level off the breakout. We got some at the high of the day, reloaded at that 52.6, gave it to the gap side about 20 pennies. So thankfully, silver can pay for them all. But I'm finally into QBTS. Like, I liked this as a continuation short more than I liked Rigetti. But at the open, this flush went over and paid for locates in Rigetti. And in this pullback underneath VWAP, we're jumping in. I want to give this to about 19.10. QBTS has a bit of a gap fill here for D-Wave. I'm not saying it gets to $18, but that's where the next available support is. So a couple of red candles already forming on the 15-minute. As the market's going higher, this name is going lower. Oh, and while I'm looking at this, it is worth mentioning they missed yesterday. INQ actually had a good quarter yesterday. So if the quant names start going, INQ's probably a better long, in my opinion, than QBTS. They kind of missed on their EPS, and I believe on sales as well, whereas INQ was a double beat. Yeah, it was a double beat on INQ. So if you're looking for strength in this space, I think you got it in IonQ. We were talking about Palantir earlier because you guys were throwing it in the chat. I want to remind everybody in the chat, including you, Sit and Spin, if you're typing symbols in, if you're trying to get attention to a particular name or asking questions about it, don't forget that $ in there, like $, and I'll use a name that we haven't looked at so far today, AMD. It's not going to make the list. NVIDIA's one. Netflix, obviously. Dell in there with a big 17% now on Dell. Nice. Battle, BATL, that'll be one for Sharif, 34% to the upside. SoFi, oh goodness, SoFi's down 7%, that sucks. Duolingo in there, but if you want us to look at a name, just throw it in there with that $ and it'll come to the top of the list. It's a very democratic way of looking at things that are of interest to the market. So I'm still in SLV, it's about 50 pennies in the money, and next offer is at 83.25, and QBTS, we just jumped into the short trade. Continuation from yesterday for Quantum. Yeah, when you're not making any money, it can be rough in the market.
And that's why we sit here and we trade, man. We're making money today, and it's going to be another great day here. Yeah, let's go silver, man. I mean, just a good one there. We have. For us, we don't have that many shares, but it's it's a decent hold here. Let's see if this goes upside right now, right? I'm gonna reload it a little bit here on the Qs. It danced around a little bit much there. We did take another short here on the TQQs, so I'm gonna have to see where this one goes from here. Down into the 90s, we could take a bid. Well, not really. We're short at 96. Let's put a bid at 92. Sorry. I meant 82. We put it at 92. Now we have it at 82. Okay, so let's see if we can get that bid down here at 82. At 82. There it is. Yes, sir. Okay, despite getting stopped out on that first little piece there, or our last piece, we do get it right back in there and we put it back on, and there it goes to the downside. So far, so good here on that kind of a trade. Silver we don't have to do much with. It is starting to go back upside, so we'll take another piece here at 24s. So that was a good offer. I'm still waiting at 32s as well. As there goes silver, nicely done to the upside there. And SMR, boy, we got energy now on the show, and here it comes, man, 1305. Take another bid. We'll punch out some 1305s there as there goes another move higher on SLV. I'm still going to use the TQQ stop out here. Our initial stop, it's funny because it was 49.20s. That seems to be where we're kind of bouncing off of right now. So we'll use that as our stop now and see if we can average back in just a little bit. I'll bid some more 80s there, get another piece out. Here we go, man. So far, so good. Silver, hopefully silver can moon on that inflation report. We'll see if that can get going. But for right now, it's TQs and it's downside, and we're loving it here. 49.20. Put that stop in. I feel like the market wants to bounce, though, so I am trying to cover here just a little bit more than I normally would on this kind of a move on a day like today. But hey, maybe we do chase the bottom again. So there we go. We're out of now half of this trade. Now basing it out for a 1-to-1 ratio. So let's hold on and see if we get at least 60s. And then maybe back into the 40s again. So I'm going to put a bid right here at 48.70. Maybe we get it, maybe we don't, but that's the plan of action for your boy over here. And like I said, man, it's been a super hot month, super hot everything, and not a super hot market, but the trading has been really good. Russ, I hope you're doing well. He was firing off that nail gun earlier today, and that was a loud one.
It was a high caliber. It was like the one from The Wire, man, that Snoop was using. You still have to watch that show. It was one of the best scenes. Literally, is a gangster going into a hardware store, buying a nail gun. It's just a few minutes long. It is super hot fire. There's a bit of a pullback happening in SLV. I want to look for VWAP. If it can hold on to the volume-weighted average price for a higher low, I think that's a good spot to reload to play back into the highs. The market's still heading lower. Bitcoin hasn't been traded yet, but I don't know, it's trending down. So we're not going to get 37.8. We're obviously not going to get 38.5, but the volume-weighted average price is setting up for a potential trade here in IBIT. Just to get into this one for the first time, we like it to the south side, still looking pretty good as well. There's a lot of earnings names to get to that I know we haven't looked at. I saw Dell on the visualizer, everybody, 17% up for Dell. Strong Q for them. It's a big breakout on the daily if it can hold above 140 bucks. It's only 956. Like, the opening range is getting set now. You want to make sure that you're sustaining some of these breakouts because the market still a little bit tepid. Like, it's hard to be super confident about the market when this is happening on NVIDIA. NVIDIA, fresh low, just made underneath 180 bucks, so continuing to get sold off even after their big beat. Unfortunately, not very good for NVDA, which is not going to be good for most tech names. Most.
So he said SMR was PNL number one. Right now, it is right here. It is the Nasdaq. As we go short on that one, right there at VWAP, we reloaded it. This is the part of the game that's changed for myself, right? I mean, you can't just sit here and do the same things over and over again. You gotta do something different, right? The trading has definitely changed over, obviously the course of my lifetime, but even just in the last couple months. That is that don't be stubborn about a trade, right? Like, if it breaks out and you get stopped out, stop yourself out and rework the trade. And I mean, I think that's exactly what we did right here. And it's been real good, that kind of a strategy, regrouping. Palantir right here would have given you those trades, right? So this is what I'm talking about. You may have gotten stopped out at the top, but then it just gives you another opportunity to reload down here or vice versa. So, now that you've gotten these ranges, you can just play off these ranges. Now, will you lose when they break? Of course, but you're going to have to hope that your share size properly, your risks are proper, your ins and outs are proper, and, you know, you're properly dressed like this tracksuit today as we go casual on a Friday. Right into here. Leisure Suit Larry, what a great game
Maybe
that
one
was.
of the all-time most underrated games.
That was a good one there. Thank you, very, very kind of you to say that. What I mean is that, here we go, thank you for this comment. I just read the first couple seconds of it. You keep saying you've changed, but you keep balling. So thank you so much for that. Yeah, no, I mean, just changing in the methods, right? I mean, you can make money many different ways around here, right? But, you know, I just try to do the best that I can. I say that all the time. And, you know, I feel really fortunate to be able to come here every day and show you guys what we do and show it to you live. And all of our trades are vetted. You can literally see every single thing that I do right here. I do trade. I haven't made any money on the pink sheets in a hell of a long time. I had one good day, but pretty much everything I'm doing is being exposed right here, right now. So hopefully you guys are, you know, excited about trading like I am, and we all are here. And that's why we actually dropped that Trader TV Live Academy. And we worked so long on this. I want everybody to get involved with the Trader TV Live Academy. There's actually, I showed this last time. Here, I'm going to refresh this and see if there's any more enrolled. There was 45 last time into this one. Still 45. Okay, so this is just in this particular course, right? This is our software course. You can actually go back and pick any of these lessons here and start to go, right? Real trades. Hey, I'm right here. You click on that one, and you're going to see what's going on the real trading section right now, and that is different course content here. This time, these are all videos. All four of us are going to be in these. Volume, look for volume. Look at your gross profit, net profit. Much different gross and net profit because as Joe, who's not here right now, was talking yesterday about he didn't realize the difference that fees can make as far as bidding and offering and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, get involved in the Academy today and let's make this thing sing. Adara, 5 seconds till numbers.
Construction spending month over month, forecast 0.2%, previous 0.5%, and it should be out now. As I get it, I will let you guys know. Construction spending month over month here. And yeah, just waiting for this to populate for me, 0.3%. So higher than the forecast of 0.2% and below the prior print of 0.5%. Here's the SPY. We'll take a look at the Nasdaq here. A little bit of a push higher, and certainly I think the Nasdaq recovering from these lows. We did get hotter than expected PPI prints across the board this morning, which did send a little bit of negative sentiment to this market. As you can see here, 8:30, we do get a bit of that drop. But there are so many names to talk about today. I know Sean and Neil already mentioning earnings, really the talk of the town. CRWV, Dell, Duolingo. But one of the bigger stories today actually was not an earnings play. It had involved NFLX here. So Netflix saying, hey, we're not going to be raising our offer for WBD. They don't think the deal is financially attractive anymore, so they're going to be investing in themselves and not matching Paramount's offer. So NFLX power play on watch. Another name on watch here, this is an earnings play, but as mentioned by Sharif and Brendan earlier, the biggest story here is not its earnings, it's the fact that it's going to be cutting its workforce by more than 40% this year. So from just over 1,000 employees to just under 4,000. That's what CEO Jack Dorsey has said. He also made some interesting comments about this on X, which I'm sure we'll get into later today in terms of the reasons for this workforce reduction. But interesting look here for XYZ. And again, just one of many earnings plays and watch today. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to join us at Trader TV Academy to learn a little bit more. And we're going to send you back over to Sean and Neil.
So I just heard SMCI is popping, but there was just a volume spike on. It was weird. They're playing music in my ear.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, you heard the same thing too?
Yeah, I think it's just like a news story thing. Or
okay.
Something. I don't know what the heck that was.
Okay, so we'll be 2 for 4, but I bet is what it is. It's breaking through the volume weighted average price, but there was a bit of a volume spike. It looked bigger on the tape than it does in the volume here, at least from what I could tell. But the QBTS continued to go. SLV has been, it's been trending higher. It didn't pull back into VWAP, but there could be like a reverse head and shoulders thing happening here. So there would be like a shoulder, head, then you get another shoulder at that 83. I'm still waiting for us to attack this 83.5 to play into the high a day, or waiting for an opportunity to reload at that volume weighted average price. But oh, it was SCMI, not SMCI. No, it is SMCI that was spiking.
Probably, yeah, because Dell was spiking.
Well, I was surprised in the first place that this was so weak when Dell was up double digits. And now it's starting to go. So now SMCI is up 2%.
There goes the
But
money.
really, this is just following
Right, let's go.
getting
Let's do this.
dragged upside by Dell, up that 17%. And there was a small cap that I know a lot of people were looking at this morning, that Battalion Oil, BATL. So this is back above VWAP attempting to break out. Hey, sometimes when energy is strong, you'll get these like super small cap or micro cap names. I know INDO was another one that was running here today and doing pretty good volume, over 30 million shares done on Battle. Sure, this is one Sharif will be looking at in the midday. So for now, silver still holding that QBTS because quantum apparently stinks to the downside even with the market coming up.
All right, guys, as we wrap up an incredible first week of Trader TV Academy, the feedback has been truly amazing. We're seeing so many of you diving into the modules, as I've showed you, hitting the ground running. We've also been dropping fresh updates daily on the news feed. So be sure to catch us all there. Join the community of learners already inside and start your journey today with all these wonderful videos and the platform for an initial US dollar $480. Remember, anybody in the United States is also available for this. We always get questions for that. Don't get left behind. Scan that QR code right there, tradertv.academy. Real easy, tradertv.academy. Build your trading foundation now. Oh, damn. They ran our 49.20 again there on the TQQs. So, you know, we didn't get out of that much. Well, actually, we did. It was that last little piece there that we tried again at 49, out at 49.20, only to see this come right back down in again. So just as I was saying, and I appreciate all the kind comments there in the chat about how, you know, you've changed, but you're still sort of, you know, putting on the good trades. Yeah, but that's part of it right there. Is like just getting stopped out and then not necessarily getting right back in, right? Not trying to be stubborn with this. We are breaking higher now. I'm not going to reload the short right here, right now. Says Stone Cold Joe. But here we go. Joe has his headphones in, so I don't have the Stone Cold thing there. But all right, there it goes, man. Silver, 83 and change will get a piece out. I was waiting for 83.50. That's kind of where we've been before. We're not out of that yet. SMR, whatever, man. Start to moon, and then I'll talk to you later. All right, Micron right now moving around. I actually think there's a change happening right here, and I'm almost thinking we need to get long something ASAP, and I'm going to choose you, Pikachu. What about NVIDIA rate? Okay, damn, I wanted the 181 break, you know, and that just doesn't look like that's going to be coming through. That's VWAP 181. If we get a pullback, which I'm not sure we're going to, man, it looks like right now the machines, ZB turned on right now on NVIDIA. Let's go small right now, wait for a pullback in. The machines are on long right now on NVIDIA. So that just was like they turned them on again. So I could see maybe this starting to really go now with NVIDIA. I want to start small because I don't want to risk it all up here. It's been bad, man. That 180 was a good build for sure. You know, the bids built that base up right now, and we're just going to go long. I know I'm long late, but better late than never is the way I'm looking at this right here on NVIDIA. Still want to go long the TQQs. I kind of want to wait maybe for a 49.50 break, something like that, that we can confirm a break long on this name. I mean, it could fail out. There's no doubt about that, but we'll wait to see. That's like an area for me. And there it goes, man. We're doing it again. Let's fire off that hot dog cannon real quick. See if we can take something at O's. We'll take out 20% there at 99 if we can get it. If we can get it, what are we even talking about? Props it up right now as there goes NVIDIA to the long side, man. We turn the machines on and there it goes, man. So hopefully you guys are always, you know, available to trade some of these names. Remember, I'm light on this right now. So very light on this, hoping for a pullback. If we can get it, we do want to go longer on NVDA. That is for sure. Silver 40 cents. Did we get that top tick there on silver? No, we did not. Silver just went all the way up again to 40s. I'm at 45, so let's put an offer there at 40 flat now. Let's go to 39 for silver, see if we get that one. And then now just worry about our NVIDIA long, right? We're long right here. I could take another bid now. All right, let's take something at 60. All right, let's take one at 75. I was trying to get 73 right there. Boeing just canceled, NASA just canceled some sort of a plan to space launch right now. So we'll see what happens with Boeing there, Adara. Oh boy, man, did we just reload that one. Talking about a face slapper is right here, right now. There goes NVIDIA. More love, more life, back there to the upside. There it goes. We did it again on NVIDIA. This has been quite the run, guys. What's up, Adara?
We're going to be looking into this Boeing situation here. In the meantime, though, I'm just seeing apparently UBS strategists downgrading U.S. equities to benchmark. So the overall U.S. equity outlook here at UBS reportedly being downgraded to benchmark. If I get more details, I'll let you know. Looking into Boeing right now for this headline. Back to you.
Yeah, we're going to go with green month right here as we go. Green month, red month, flat, worst month. So green month, good month there, crushing it this month, and it's been a good one. So we're really happy with that, man. And there it is. Oh, thank you for the coffee. I was wondering where you're at. Right here. But you'll be happy because silver is absolutely Moon City right now. The face slapper is in the building right now. Mark, I hope you're doing well on this Friday. Do not fall off that ladder as we have. You know, because if
I want to knock that guy
over. If we fire a bullet off here, I don't want him to get all rattled over there because, you know, I've never trust this Russell guy over there. But here we go.
There goes Russell was warning us.
NVIDIA, yeah. He was saying fire in the hole, but they didn't that second time. And he said fire in the hole, it misfired. And then 30 seconds later, when we're all calm, it blasts off. But thanks, Russell. I mean, it's a tough job. They're drilling. They're nailing into concrete and things like that, so it can get a little loud. But he's promised us holding off until 4 p.m., I believe now. Or maybe, Russ, if you can, the midday guys don't mind those noises. Right over there. No, I just say that because I know Sharif is like, he's always like, damn this noise all of the time. But Neil, while you were gone, man, I sat over, man. I waxed poetic, which is something you normally do. It's all about NVIDIA. And there it goes, man. The machines are turned on. It's NVIDIA's world, and we're all just living in it today. Nice move back there to the upside. We're at our day goal, man. We did get stopped out of the TQs, maybe potentially looking for a long. The long is now in, baby. It's a long party, and we couldn't be happier. Monday, good day. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Today is Friday, and end of February. So looking forward to a good trading month of March. And we do get our SLV trading going. Nice upside take there on silver. We put an offer at 40. We just stopped out there. Didn't stop out. The market stopped out at 60s. So let's put an offer there at that 60 level. Just get out another piece, man. That's all I'm doing is piecing it out because I choose peace, not war.
Well, hopefully we don't get that.
I just battle the markets
Let's be real. That would actually probably help prices of silver. Unfortunately, I hate to say it. I jumped out of QBTS. I just made a bottoming candle, which might have wicked me out. I came back to see us at 25K on the Nasdaq and QBTS. So we got that fill on silver. Now we're waiting for the high of day break or maybe VWAP, but we're waiting for the next opportunity to short the pop in QBTS. It's still trend down, but it just hit the 18.5 zone here. I'm gonna go to a 15-minute so you can kind of see. It's hit that 18.5 zone and try to bounce. This is still looking weak. So Quantum, good, they're down 9% here. Obviously would have been a lot better to have gotten it in front of the prior day lows, but beggars cannot be choosers. Bitcoin's still not doing much of anything. But one of the bigger ones, Jack B. Nimble, one of the bigger ones to the upside that is a bit of a shock to me right now is Intel's on its way to 47. Not sure why. I don't remember there being a story for Intel here.
SMR?
But that's a big level, that 47 here in Intel. I don't want to say I'm automatically going short at that price, but it's been big resistance. So if we do some kind of a trend break, which is what I'm looking for now, move into the next mode, hold on to silver for high of the day, and wait for a trend break on Intel. Just look for that next trading opportunity. Adara?
Not seeing anything obvious on Intel here.
Okay. I didn't think there was any news. It got cold in here, so I had to go. Well, it was like straight out of the
coffee
I feel
machine.
like it's weird. Like the first coffees in the morning aren't as hot, and then when you get one later, I literally burnt my tongue 2 seconds ago. You might have heard me curse under my breath. But it's cold in here. That's why I had to go grab a vest.
Yeah, it's pretty cold in here. That is
sweater is like paper thin.
That is for sure. I know it's cold in here, but the trading is super hot fire right now. So we'll fire off the hot dog gun right here. I don't really have anything that's fiery. Maybe this market green thing right here, but
Gates of Hell has fire.
Yeah, the Gates of Hell does have fire right now, but there's nothing going into the Gates of Hell at all. We are sitting right now in $2 worth of winners all over the place. A name that we sort of left just to try to get going there. We just got SMR, so yeah, let's go on that one again. SMR right there. Nice move to the upside as SMR continues to go, man. And yeah, really loving silver. We are now in the dollar club right here for silver as we've got on some decent shares and trying to go higher. But I've pieced out of it, most of it, and we only have 15% left as we get into the high of the day on SLV. Waiting for SMR. And honestly, man, if NVIDIA pulls back, fine. We just got the 200 period moving average. We are getting out of NVIDIA. I wish we would have pushed the button for a little more shares. I was hoping that we could get a VWAP trade on that name. No can do over there. Yeah, buddy, Marvell up 1%. So yeah, we like that one. That's a face slapper as well. Oh, here's one. You can watch the Rolex. What hand is the watch on? This is my best impersonation of David Blaine. Watch the hands. Right there. Unlike David Blaine, there may or may not have been some editing done on that one. So there it goes right now.
He's done some tricks that are TV.
Yeah,
like he's a real magician. He can do live magic. He does lots of live magic, but there's
the bigger ones.
Some stuff.
I remember watching David Copperfield. That was the best.
I love Copperfield.
Those of you guys that don't know, now you know.
That dude would do like 1,000 shows a year or some utter absolute nonsense.
Loving some David
like
Copperfield.
Multiple a day. The guy was a machine. The machine right now is the market at 25K. So the Nasdaq at 25,000. I understand that that's obviously the S&P is what everyone usually looks at, but that's been a bit of a resistance spot. So I do think if you're looking for a curl, that could be the place. I've already said, oh no, QBTS is going lower and not higher. I've already said I want to try to get this one short back into VWAP, and then Intel, which is up for, well, probably bouncing because the market's bouncing. It's getting close to 47. We're at 46.5. There's been singular red candles in here, and then we just continue to bounce. So I don't want to think this is the high. I want to let it press a little bit higher if we can. David thinks that David Blaine is a god amongst.
I like David Blaine. I mean, who else is there? There's a few other guys recently that got really popular on YouTube.
But there's a lot of during COVID.
Right, that's what I mean.
Comedians
that were all. But
Jackie
David
Yu's one of them. Shin Lin, something like that. There's an Asian guy who was that guy sleight of hand.
I really like magic. I like watching magic stuff, man. I mean, I
love it.
You know, some of those feats, like we went to Cirque du Soleil in the summertime, and I know that's not magic, but there was a magic guy there. But it's more just like your daughter's in gymnastics, mine was in gymnastics, and then got bored of it. But yeah, the gymnastics and some of the abilities that these
acrobats
have, it's like, holy crap. Absolutely amazing. What's up? Always be thankful. Yeah, maybe not, man. I mean, I can make P&Ls disappear real quickly. There's no doubt about that. But you are the magician. Nah, not really. But we do appreciate all of that. Yeah, I see the note there, SoFi. Barton there talking about SoFi, and you mentioned it earlier today too, that it was down 7% or something like that. Yeah, wow. Like here, let's take a quick little look here. I mean, Bitcoin's at 66.
It is one of the worst stocks the last couple of weeks.
SoFi. Yeah, SoFi has been. I mean, and that thing on earnings was like 27, 28 bucks.
After beating on earnings, they're getting destroyed.
Unreal the way SoFi is going, honestly. And you know, today, no reason why it's going to go upside. When you get Morgan Stanley down 4% today, Goldman Sachs down 4%, Wells Fargo down. What the hell? Darryl, what's the story with the banks, man? Wells Fargo down 4, BAC down 4. Thank God the one I own, JP Morgan, is only down 2.3, but it's been bad right here. This is a big washout today for all of these bank names. I feel like there's something to do with the investment grade or something like that. Like,
I mentioned earlier, like UBS downgrading these U.S. equities to benchmark. I'm not seeing anything specific yet, though, and I am still going to look. If I see anything else, I'll let you know. There is a story from yesterday morning with regards to apparently
so I think it's like
certain senators had some concerns about potential ties to a certain individual whose name was in files, but that's all that I'm seeing, and that was only Goldman and JP.
And everybody's in the files.
Okay, man. Yeah, so I don't. That's not it. But I think we mentioned like the Blue Owl situation. Like how many of these loans that they have out may not accrue anything. That could be, okay, here we go. I just got filled on NVIDIA low there, so I don't know. I guess this just came back in. So let's be very, very careful what we're doing with NVIDIA. We wanted VWAP, and sometimes you get what you want. And right into there, if this breaks back below 181, man, we're gone on this one. We have a reload now on NVIDIA on that dip down. And honestly, it just took me by surprise. I wasn't even looking over here at NVIDIA. So let's be careful with it. But yeah, break of 181. Maybe we get out of NVIDIA. It's not... not a great move there to the downside for NVDA and the rest of the market. Maybe, you know, it's not all rose-colored right now. If the market does look to fade out.
We got the 25K already.
Yeah,
so
we got a nice move higher there.
If you can't break 25,000, I'll give you one more look of that level on the Nasdaq, just to give an idea. The last 2 sessions on the NQ, it's been 21.5. If we come to the chart for a second, there we go. It's been 21.5, so 25.1, 25.1 that's held both days. But this lower high, it's a big, obvious psychological number. We just went right into it before pulling back. If we break this trend here on silver, I'll be out. It played basically VWAP to the high, so if that happens and it breaks trend, the rule for me is to get out and look for a re-entry at that point. But just because you look for a re-entry doesn't mean you get one. It's QQBTS, as that continues to go lower, it did bounce off our initial target. That was the target for the move from like 19.6, but I never got the 19.6 trade, but that doesn't change what I'm looking for. Because you're late to the trade, it doesn't move your downside target, really. It just,
bye-bye.
It is what it is. So if silver loses trend, then I'll be out of that one and looking for the next opportunity. I said I would wait until 47 or a little bit of a press higher on Intel. Well, Intel didn't want to wait at all. So as good as today's been, that was a bit of a miss. That was the top right then and there for Intel. Already dropped 2% from its high. Back to flat, this stock is.
All right, we only got out of half of our NVIDIA on that break of one, on the breaks, sorry, that's SMR, right there on NVIDIA, on the break of 181. So, you know, we still have the 50-period moving average rate here right now, so we got a good price. We got 97s or something on the break, so there was lots of liquidity on that break. We could have just broke it out when it took VWAP right there. That could have been the stop there at 22, maybe a little bit better. I was just going to use 181, but with the volume here today, we only got out of half. So we still do have an upside potential here for this name to get our monies back, and hopefully we'll be able to do that right now. I am bidding a lot lower now. I'm bidding in 180.20 to see if we do get a fly back in just a little bit here. Let's take advantage of something here. Put an offer at 22. There it is. We get that. Just to, you know, ease some of the worries there. Another out there on silver as well. We'll take that at 60 right now. And then, yeah, if we break higher, we'll put another offer there at 80. Maybe we can get it. It looks like we did stop out not prematurely. Like I said, remember, we talked about being a changed man, and that's why. We're out of half there, but we got to get out, right? Like, to hold that all the way back in and let that tank, So we're not doing that. And so we get stopped out there, and now we're long. We can make a little bit back on NVIDIA, hopefully, if we can moon. I'm just going to wait for it to go back up. Like, if we can get 190, 189, 189, 180, 190, that would be great. Okay, there's a bunch of super chats.
No, it was just the one.
Oh, just the one. Okay.
That's my bad. It's Danny Boy's Disco Pants Emporium. I'm okay.
Like that one.
Now we're really stepping them up there, Danny. MFS in London collapsed, leaving a bunch of banks on the hook. Wells Fargo and Jefferies were exposed to the tune of $100 million. That can explain some of the weakness, but let's go to Adara. Let's talk about some small cappers and then come back.
You know, I started hearing about this private credit situation yesterday, so that could be a continuation type move on the private credit, but I think that's been in discussions going back to yesterday as well, just to kind of mention that. I'm still looking into any news in the banks. If I see anything else beyond the private credit, I will keep you guys posted. Let's start with ONMD. Nice small cap mover here, that $1.30 level, right now proving a little bit of resistance. They did have day one news, though. They're going to be the only one we're going to talk about today that does have clear day one news catalyst. ONMD, which has rallied in the past, announcing the next phase of its commercial rollout with Palantir Foundry-powered platform. So good look there for ONMD and Palantir Association. ENSC is up next year. This is NSICE Biosciences. ENSC as mentioned. This one a little bit below those pre-market highs. No day one catalyst here. A couple days ago, though, they did announce they're launching a strategic review to advance some of their platforms, explore partnerships, and consider corporate deals. $2.25 million market cap with a 3.6 million share float. Last but not least, the one on everybody's lips today, that'll be BATL. This one giving back a lot of that move here, but this one on watch here with geopolitical tensions. Market cap of just under $100 million. Flow to 14 million shares, 7% of that going to be sold short. This, guys, keep an eye on this one, volatility, because it's likely trading in tandem with oil. Back to you.
Yes, sir. And yeah, Barclays down 5% overseas on that headline. Okay, silver just trailed out for me. So there's the kind of the long around the VWAP, but we broke the trend line, so I'm now out of silver. There might be a chance that VWAP isn't the place to go, and it's still that 82.5 zone. Here on the 15-minute, just pulling back into prior high. Like, pull back into prior high was the plan of action when we were at 81. That would have been the 80 level, but now silver's starting to give it back, so we got to look for that next chance. I don't think it's going to be quantum because, yeah, that's QBTS is now down 10% and still falling.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not looking good for them. I know I mentioned SoFi. Oh, SoFi is like the worst stock out there. I'm just saying that because I own more, like in my personal account, like way more SoFi than is QBTS, that's for sure. But not looking good at all. The market might be bouncing, but you're not seeing a heck of a lot of strength in a few names over here. Want to be able to short a pop if we can in QBTS, but it's not looking that's going to be anytime soon. You're at the low of the day. There hasn't been a green candle to play back into on the 15-minute. And after 10 o'clock, I usually want things to set up here on said 15-minute chart. IBIT is worth taking another look at. It's still in the inside range. Tried it breaking down on the second 15-minute candle. Didn't go. But with the market pressing into 25, if the Nasdaq takes 25,000 to the upside and Bitcoin doesn't break this high, then I'm taking another crack at it. You can't tell me we're breaking through a key level on the Nasdaq upside, and if Bitcoin ain't going with it, then Bitcoin is still relatively weak, and at that point, I'll take a second shot. But we'll let the Nasdaq press into the highs before we do that. And JKL just sent us a super chat. Thank you very much, JKL. BTC MSTR midday pop play for you, and probably you mean leftover steak burrito. That's what lunch is, leftover steak burrito.
For him, that's good. That sounds.
Hey man, that just means that you had a steak burrito last night.
That wins, man.
So you're winning. You're definitely winning.
That wins today.
I had like a jerk pork last night.
Oh, me and my son went out, just the two of us. We had a boys' night. We went out and got burgers and everything like that after his orientation. So it was really cool. Yeah, lots of fun, man. He's really excited to get into that robotics.
High school.
High school. He's going to high school now. Absolutely unbelievable. But okay, my son is in grade 8. He has size 13 shoes and is bigger than everybody around here. The guy's like 6 feet tall. The guy's gonna be a monster. He's actually excited to play some football and follow in a little bit of the footsteps over here. Okay, so here goes NVIDIA. So really, look, good decision, man. Props up. Like, good thing we only got out of half there again. But you know, if you got out of the full thing, fine, right there. But we had mentioned that we got out of half. It does just get into 50s. We are watching this 25 period. You know, like it absorbed that 50 period moving average, you know, perfectly. So that was good. You know, but getting some out now on the upside as it's. I don't want to necessarily go long on stock that. Is down 2%, you know, just waiting for a little bit of a pullback potentially in the market. And we could have we talked about getting that TQQ trade actually going, and we had a great one. We were short until we weren't. But I was mentioning 49.50, you know, as possibly being another area there. I actually wanted to look at 49.50 as a break long. To be honest with you. So it's not, I'm not going to sit here and be like, wow, we should have been short, because I could have been short. I was watching it and I just waited. I want to wait for the long break. I might not even take it. I'm thinking longer rather than shorter right now, and that's just part of it. We did get out of some more SMR. I'm being pretty light on this name now, man, about that 10% left on New Scale. So that was another one that reported today. CoreWeave downside with a vengeance, man. Look at that off that 50 period. Gets bounced all the way back up into the pre-market lows and then gets faded one more time again there today. Bitcoin 66, not doing a whole bunch, just hanging out. We had that story there about the financials, so we'll sort of pass on that for now and just see what's possibly moving today to the upside. Consumer non-durables with Procter & Gamble and Philip Morris, Clorox moving, Mondelez, Nike downside there, so that's not great for Nike in the space as I look around. Coke up 1%. Retail side of things, right? Walmart battling back. That's nice. Walmart's had a couple days there of movement. Target down. Target's been real good too. Carvana, man, the car company over there, selling cars down 4%. Costco up a little bit there. Happy Pokemon release date, everybody, today as well. Healthcare technology names. Eli Lilly up, Merck up, AbbVie up, Amgen, Gilead. there. Pfizer with a nice little move there, so that's starting to go as well. And then here, this is where I feel like the value is going to be. If you're looking to pick something up, and that is in this space right here, the manufacturing space. So XLI is the industrial ETF. There has to be a manufacturing one. I just don't know what it is. G Vernova down slightly, 1%. Caterpillar down 2%. So some of these names, man, Cummins as well. And I know that most of us are invested in here, but I'm definitely,
at least.
definitely light.
Everyone's in something.
In that. But there goes NVIDIA. I know we have a super chat up, but there goes NVIDIA right now. So we're back into this one, 55 cents now in the money on NVIDIA. And I'm just saying that because I think I'm offering 87s, but let's just offer us 80s, get a piece out there. If it comes to 87, we'll take it. So far, so good there on NVIDIA today. Oh,
it's David with the super chat. NVIDIA and Jensen, let this be a lesson. Next quarter, make us wait 45 minutes and beat 100%. Okay, you got to wait longer, apparently.
They didn't wait long enough.
And beat by even more. I'm pretty sure the day that Meta made us wait forever, it was only mildly worth it. It was okay. Like Zuck, I don't know, there was one day where they were like, I think we didn't report them until 4:40 or something.
Yeah, it was around 4:40, and it was for Q1 2025, so it would have been last year, the April report.
April.
There you go.
It seems like it was.
I wouldn't have remembered all that.
Seems like it was less than that. Like April's,
that felt like it was much more recent.
April already. Like
that's been a year.
March.
Okay,
time flies. I felt like it was more recent than that as well.
Also,
shout out
block.
to Adara on that one.
What's
block doing?
XYZ, which is, you should just call it Cube or something, because that's what they mean with XYZ. It's trying to break back above the volume weighted average price. So again, I don't think I'm going to be able to get a fade in QBTS unless something drastically changes. But looking at some of these earning names, this could be breaking out. If it closes above, it's not a huge, it's like the pre-market trend line. That's more of a B than an A. But I'd still give it that breakout to the prior bar if we can get it. Just has to happen on the 3. Salvador also
he's just in the NVIDIA trade, so. Good job there, Salvador. Thank you for mentioning that. Thank you for trusting in that position. But we're getting in some more out there at 182. So I just broke through. We got 182.11s there on the upside. I told you the machines got turned on, it seemed like, but then they just collapsed right back into view up. We did stop out of half there. And now we run this to the upside on NVDA and just watching out for that. So if there are any names you guys want us to talk about, during the midday, they'll be talking more about small cap trades as well. As I just focus on, honestly, the money-making trades and the style that I trade, and that's a lot of big caps and movers there today. Of course, we're in SMR. Joseph and I will be the ones that will trade either of these futures contracts. So watch out for that. He's always in the TQs or something double or triple levered as well. We like to trade the Teslas of the world and things like that. But here today, man, it's CoreWeave lighting everybody on fire. That's 26 of you asking for 17% down. What's up with that? That's an earnings play. ONMD, there's a good one. Breaking through the dollar level, ONMD. We can have a look at that, 87%. Duolingo cracks 100. And yesterday, Adara mentioned there goes 100. And under there right now as well. Microsoft still in the bin there for being down. In the recycle bin, on Windows, you put things in the recycle bin. That's where Microsoft is right now. Palantir, let's go, man. That's a good idea to go long on Palantir. I love that. Out of all of these names, I think this is the best long-term name here. Or silver, I like silver too. Tesla is going to be interesting. They're down 0.5% right now. That's getting moving. Dell, what a Q they had, man. Up 19% for Dell. We got to look at this BATL. Some of you had messaged me, actually. I asked earlier on X, and I was like, yo, what names do you guys want to trade into here this morning? Maybe it was even on the sticky note. Some of you might have replied.
Well, it's better not to look at Battle now. It halted down.
Did it halt down? Yeah. So here, not getting a great feeling here long this morning. What do we want to trade? Here it is right here. Used Gum says Battle and SLV. Some of you definitely looking in the right spaces today. But as you had mentioned, we can go over and look at it. I guess.
Yeah, Battle didn't really. Well, you know what? You could always go short names like this.
Yep.
That's entirely possible. You could take a breakdown underneath VWAP, but Battle lost $5. It halted just about 20 minutes ago or 15 minutes ago. Reopened and trying to get that halt level. So $5 will be a key level for BATL, as you can see on the daily chart. It's probably not a huge surprise that it struggles to hold 5. All topping tail candles on this small capper there. There's a couple of things I wanted to, where'd it go? That's why. I was just going over, there were a couple of questions in here from TikTok. And I know, whoops, we got a lot of viewers in there.
TikTok.
ONMD is one we looked at. BBAI reports on Monday. That's one that we'll definitely be watching. RX. So we see you in there as well. BBAI, I think, a little more interesting after the report than before, but we'll see. Like it's been a runner in the past, but I just want to show it to all of our viewers over there on TikTok. We appreciate you. You saw the bang go on through there. And we did have another super chat. If we can throw that one up, because I know there was that AIOL. I'm not in anything. I'm out of it. I'm really not really seeing anything that's setting
Silver's
up.
blast.
Yeah, but AAOI, and this is from Ruchi Shah. Almost 50%. It's 48% to the upside. You say you're long from 27, so I won't pretend that this is a name that I've looked at before, but it looks like a pretty blue sky setup. All right, so. What do we got here? What's the story? Because you're not going to be up 50% without a story. And see if I can find it on AOI. Did they report?
It's twice those Qs fell off that.
Yeah, it looks like they recently reported here. But I want to see the fundamentals here because it's trading as if you've got a pretty big. Well, they reported yesterday. And what is this float? 65 mil is a decent float. 16% short will be the big story. Applied Optoelectronics, yeah, it's a short float story, and they recently reported, didn't have a big earnings or anything like that, but the reaction is fantastic. It's a bit of a blue sky setup, and I'm not one of those like technical people that'll sit there and tell you that I have all these great ideas when you're doing something like this, outside of, well, what's the last move? And if it's making this breakout 44 to about 10, that's 34 bucks. And then you do that, and you're already at that part. So 34, 34. It's basically right at the level of, so the measured move here from top to bottom, you take that same 34 bucks, and it's put that on the breakout. So that would be this logical spot where mathematically you're like, hey, that would be a nice spot to take some profit out in front of the 80 level, just because it went 1-to-1 from that prior low. But no one ever went broke taking some profit. You got yourself a pretty good runner after earnings with a good short float. Nothing wrong with that. Let's go to Adara.
Keep an eye here at EXC, Exelon Corp. Volume on this actually better than you might expect, or at least better than I expected. It's like over 1 million shares, but 1.5 million shares traded on the day. It's unwatched because Banyan Hill flagged this as a long idea, saying that you can, quote, double your money on the surging demand per power. That is a real quote. So either way here, Banyan Hill saying they are long, or at least they like the idea of a long here on EXC. Back to you.
All right, thanks. Adara. Yeah, look, we can look at a bunch of different names. I mean, those are some other names there that, you never know where sort of your bread's going to get buttered when you're in the market. So always take a look at all of the opportunities that there may be. I mean, including like not even looking at Tesla today, and then it's up $6 from these lows of 401 again. So, came in, double touched that bottom one more time there at 401, and then boom, right up there back up to 407. So it's just like, nice directional move higher on Tesla here today. So that was a good one there, and nice move upside for TSLA. NVIDIA gave me just a little bit of a scare there as we maybe were gonna break through VWAP again. I'm gonna sit a little bit lower. I'm basically like at 181 here. I just put a random price, 181.04. So if it comes in and fills there, that's good. And then we'll use like this 85 area where we bounced off of last time. That would be my stop zone. So if it does come back in, that's something that we want to look at here as well today. I mean, this is the hot list that we have, and this is brought to you by eSignal. And right now it's Amazon that just turned green in a red market. So that's nice. Amazon right now starting to go back up to the upside there, nicely trading there. Tesla, what? Okay, this was a name that Sunrun is getting.
Sunrun today?
Dude, it's down 32%. So there goes Sunrun straight to the downside. Shout out to Brian Shannon. That was indicating this as a possible breakout trade. Other way around there, breaking down today is the run of Sun, because that is getting crushed. FSLR, did Sunrun report at all, Adara, or anything? But
they reported last night. They got a downgrade after the report. They beat. It was a double beat yesterday, actually, with unexpected profit.
Could have fooled me. All right, so
How do you lose 30% after?
Yeah, I don't know either. But this is why these hot lists, and we always say, people say like fire up the scanners and this and that, right? Well, this is what we're talking about. Fire up the scanners, you got to be able to, hit the trade when the trade is there. And for right now on Sunrun, like if you notice that
numbers, It was
Yeah, what are the
38,
numbers? No, I didn't.
38 cents versus an expected loss of 0.08 cents.
Sounds great.
It was 1.16 billion, beating 614 million estimates. So the top and bottom were monster beats, but it looks like there was some metrics that disappointed, at least according to a headline here. So it just goes to show it's not always about top and bottom. I'm dumbfounded. I can't remember the last time we saw anything like that. We had a super chat about Netflix from Arthur Axton.
What up, Arthur?
What's the game plan on Netflix? I don't really have a game plan on Netflix because it didn't really dip. It never dipped into 87 was the level I kind of liked on a daily chart. So I think I love what's going on with this stock for the weekly chart. So I'd favor the long side of the trade. I don't know if I'd chase it on a day trade up here just yet. It's got to do something off VWAP. Right now you just got a wedge. It's extreme high. Forget about that open. There was that crazy move at the open, so I don't want to include this in any kind of a trend, but I would look at this wedge and just say, hey, if it can break out of this wedge in either direction, I think you got a bit of a move. But on the weekly chart, I do like the long. Like, I like the long on the weekly. It'll just have to set something up for next week, because I didn't want to chase this gap. The market's trying to break out, so I think you could at least get a breakout up top, but I'm already in a very similar setup with Block here. Like, Block did a very similar move and kind of broke this little bit of like from the pre-market, there's your higher lows, there's your open. So managed to held that, but it'll be a very tight stop because I'm not giving this into VWAP. I have to give it to that prior bar here for XYZ. Very, very similar setup.
Yeah, buddy. Up, and away goes silver, man. We posted about this as soon as we got this trade on. It is your second, I didn't even look at Block today. This is your second trade idea of the day here on the sticky note, and first was Block. We can go have a look at that. I'm going to look at Block right after this because I said 60 to 61, so let's go have a look. Silver, there's the long. We talked about TQQ short. We're not at those levels yet. And then the IBIT we didn't get involved in, but my number one P&L name today is SMR. As that's still going. And NVIDIA's trying to do some damage on that as well. But SMR, we just got, look at that, Phil, right there. We actually took a very big position on SMR. I was telling you we had 6 times the shares on SMR that we did on that Apple trade right there. But doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. Because here it comes now. So we're almost out of everything now on silver. And just a couple uptakes there on NVIDIA. As their NVIDIA goes as well, we're almost $1. So we're $1 in the money on NVIDIA. We're $1.30 in the money on silver. And 50 cents on the $13 name, that is SMR. But let's have a quick look at XYZ, and then we'll go over to Adara. Yeah, so we had said 61 to 60, so nothing there. I just wanted to double check it. We were hoping for a little bit of a retracement. We did like the block quarter. I mean, Shreve went over those numbers with us, and they were good, man. They're making money, 12 billion, good quarter for XYZ, and then you get the unfortunate news of getting a little bit more efficient with the job cuts there. But they're probably, well, as Jack said himself, like, I'm on a first name basis with him. So as Jack was saying there as well. Oh, come on, Kathy. Don't get all upset, Kathy. Right there. But yeah, so I was just going to say he penned a nice letter out there explaining that, but they did hire a lot there. So
they more than doubled
a little bit of a bloated workforce there.
Like everybody else.
But anyways, man, yeah, CoreWeave downside as well. Let's go over to Adara for one of her updates, and we'll be back then 1040, 1050s Money Talks, and then we'll figure out what's for lunch today, and then we'll get out of here and throw it to the midday show. Hopefully it's nothing to do with chicken. Let's go.
I don't even think he'd be that sad about you calling him Jack, Sean, because his Twitter handle is literally J-A-C-K. It's Jack. So shout out there to Mr. Dorsey. Let's talk here about this sector board. I mean, as Sean and Neil were mentioning earlier, finance getting hit particularly hard. We know there are some private equity concerns, and also UBS actually downgrading U.S. equities today. So interesting look there. Unfortunately, not a good look if you're along any of these banks. So it is worth noting, any of these like financial payments, like MA and Visa, as well as Berkshire Hathaway, these are not really getting hit by this. Producer manufacturing to the downside for the most part. Consumer durables quite weak. Consumer services, with a notable exception of McDonald's, getting hit fairly hard. We've got CMG, Chipotle here down 3%. Tech services and electronic technology, 1-2 punch of weakness. Tech services, though, does have NFLX trying to lift it up here. Netflix with basically announcing they're going to be stepping away and not raising its offer here for WBD, leaving PSKY to take the reins. INTU, which has gotten hit pretty hard as of late, up 2% today after earnings. Now, electronic tech, pretty much weak across the board here. In terms of relative strength with these sectors, you've got retail trade, health tech, consumer non-durables, energy minerals, utilities, health services, and communications. Communications probably holding up the best here as an overall sector, guys. Back to you.
That wasn't clean at $1, though. That ONMD
over
up 100%, but it wasn't actually.
We made so much money off of it.
It wasn't clean off $1. Looks like it kind of rinsed you a couple of times at the $1 level, and then eventually broke out. And Sharif will be all over this one. I'm assuming because it's whatever. He said it's the best small capper out there, so I'm not surprised whatsoever. We do have a potential trend trade in IBIT, which is formed, but I got to go over to XYZ. I said it'd be a relatively tight stop because there's your trend break. The prior bar ends up like right in here, so it's pretty tight in a VWAP. If we take our shot, the idea is like keep your losses smaller, let your winners hold as silver continues to go. For me, this is what it's about. If the trends work, oftentimes sometimes I'll trail out and it'll look like this and it continues to go higher, but I can't hate. Silver will be my best spot today, so either way it goes, fine. IBIT was also, I don't want blue ocean, but that's the first thing in the drop down, so there we go. IBIT is also back underneath the volume weighted average price, so I'll take my second swing at it. The market got to that 25K. I mean, the Nasdaq got to that 25,000 and is attempting to break out while we're putting a lower high on IBIT. So I said, as long as that's true, I'm going to play the short one more time. And if we break out, I can give it to this lower high in here, just around like the 37.6 level. So if the Nasdaq rejects, then good. Bitcoin's relatively weak to begin with. If it breaks out, there's at least a chance it remains relatively weak, and that'll be a part of the plan. I see a few names in there that I am a little bit surprised at because Danker just said Beyond. Look, if Beyond Meat is near $1, I'm paying for locates right now. It's at 88 cents. You know, when we were making our picks of the year and everyone's like, well, if you're allowed to short names that are not in the S&P 500.
Which you weren't allowed, of course.
Which you weren't. But I said this would have been mine because it was right at $1 when we did it, I'm pretty sure. I'm like, well, Beyond Meat at $1 seems like a good short. It's at 88 cents, so I think I will pay for locates if there's no story here. So I will double check. I will double check first to see if there is something going on, but I doubt it. Sometimes it just does dead cat bounces.
I haven't.
No story, Neil.
Okay. I haven't discussed this with anybody, but I'm making a new thing here. At the 6-month mark, we're going to have a new stock draft with absolutely no rules because no one follows them anyways. So at the 6-month mark, we'll all just, you can decide to hold the stocks you want. You could do whatever you want, but we're going to take whatever money or whatever you're at on June 1st or July 1st, and we're going to have a fight, and we're going to pick. I thought this is a good idea. I thought right here because I want to get Andre involved. We're going to figure out a way to get the chat more involved in their picks as well. So at the 6-month mark, I'm making an executive decision. We're going to go and do a new draft.
I promise you this, everybody. The original results, we'll still see how they play out at the end of the year.
Yeah, of course. That's what I'm saying.
Because we still want to.
You could hold on to
last year.
This is a new one.
Last year, I remember at the middle of the year, I was like,
let me show
I told everyone, I'm like, man, I don't even want XLF anymore at the midpoint. And that was one of my picks. I'm like, look, man, I'm not buying this stock here. I'm trimming this stock here. But we couldn't do anything about it in the actual competition, even though it's like I wouldn't be holding on to it at this point.
But you're lucky that you weren't allowed to do that because XLF, actually, you holding it.
No, but I was being dead honest.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, you would have got
holding it helped me. But it was,
holding it
I was pretty disappointed with it at one point.
So here's the results right here. We're going to still hold on to everything, obviously, as we go. OB up 16%. Adara, great calls by Adara. 10%. You can see what Adara's picks were. Boeing long. Okay, it says right here. Boeing long, Starbucks long, Oracle short, and there's the returns. The Oracle short, man. Oracle already, and I think we did this January 12th or something, already 30% off. That's amazing. What a crazy call that was. And I always remember that 317 price that I got out of the Oracle. Oops, this is what we want, the tracker. Out of the Oracle long. So yeah, here I am, man. This is going to change on Monday when Big Bear AI just starts to go, but whatever, here we go. This is my down. As Adara's up 30% on Oracle, I'm down 37% on BBAI. I still like Eli Lilly. Marvell, I couldn't be happier with that. There's Neil's play, AVAV, that's down. The metal name and CRISPR both up as well. Sharif, good calls here as 1 and 1 there. Basically, Broadcom is his, up and down. Those wash each other, Thermo Fisher and and Broadcom, but we're all pretty much down on Broadcom, like any of the chip names right there. JP Morgan, I mean, I love this call by Big Joe there. Walmart, 8%, good name there. And of course, CrowdStrike, again, like these are all great stocks. Brendan goes, like me here, 0 for 3 right now. IREN, Tesla, CEG, but a little bit, thematic there
CEG
as well.
This year.
That's
already bouncing.
Obi, of course, makes his plays when they're all over with and says he's going to go short. So there it is right there, short on SIDU. That's a good one. Circle short, blowing up against him a little bit, but whatever BW is going to the upside there as well. My guy Fabian is the man, the myth, the legend. If there's anybody over here that knows exactly what he's doing, it's Fabian. There's silver right there. This man has the pick of the draft. There's nothing even close to this. 55%. Right there for Fabian. So my hats go off to Fabian for sure.
I love gold.
We just gave the chat these. I don't know, BBAI, NVIDIA, and Tesla. Most mentioned chats. So thank you, Fabian ran that one there as well. Ramin, ASTS Rocket Lab, and she gets the benefit of Netflix little bump right there. So see how much it can change in one day, right? And then what's this? Oh, Mateo. What's up, Fabian? How you doing, my guy? Let me know your picks next time ahead of time so I can copy them. All right, and then here's Randy. Randy, XOM has been awesome, obviously. Volkswagen and NVIDIA. So yeah, that's what we're all doing, man. And we'll just keep checking back on this. You know what we should do? Is there a way? There is definitely a way to do it.
Didn't Sia make picks?
I think Sia misunderstood everything. She was not. She wanted to get long, like random things.
Okay.
But we'll include her at the 6-month mark there. But I was just going to say, was there? Oh, here's the stock ranking. Maybe like a net overall, like if you can all of them. No, just sum them all up.
That should be easy.
Basically, like there's 10 people in here, so that's 100 grand. What is the eventual total? So it's just kind of like adding these.
Portfolio average of everybody.
Yes, exactly. How much has everybody? I can net it out.
Because it's all even numbers, so it's
it's easy. So just like if I'm down $1,000 and he's up $1,000, that would be zero.
It all
just like that, right? So anyway, shout out there. And we'll include Sia and everything, and we'll even include Captain America. He'll have some more picks coming up very, very soon. So shout out to you, my guy. Great picks there with silver. And sometimes it just takes one pick to go. And if you guys are following Silver Trade today, it's a face slapper. And there goes silver right now, up $2, and really helping out your boy's day here, SLV, as it continues to go. We won't go out today at the highest spot we've been at on the day, but we'll still do okay. We did lose a little bit there on that Qs. We gave that back. We did lose a little bit on this. Well, we got to wait to see what NVIDIA is going to do here, but that was a good trade. SMR has been really good. SMR has never even gone against us. We'll wait to see if we get another fill coming out right there. Before we go over to Neil, because it's 10:50s, we got to do what's for lunch. And it's been a decent week for lunch this week. I feel like I haven't been too. I would love to. I was about to say, what about just a simple pizza or something very, very simple? We could have Taco Friday. There's lots of different things that we could wind up doing here today. But at the end of the day, it's a U.S. flag.
I want tacos.
Okay, so U.S. flag on the lunch has been, okay for me, man. It's had the mac and cheese. It's had the, mac and cheese has been a side with the fried chicken.
I'm right now, I'm not looking, but I'm just going to mentally tell myself we're getting fried chicken with the mac and cheese.
Right. Mac and cheese has been the side. So, maybe you could have a mac and cheese bake with some chicken in it.
Positive thoughts, everybody.
I don't know. Well, Neil, unfortunately for you, but you're going to have to take part 2. You said it already. It's assorted sandwiches.
Oh, well,
so we'll take it. That's what I was going to say. I don't want to disappoint you too much. Who's that?
You know what, Joe? Honestly,
there's no one more sensitive here than Joe. I'll tell you.
Joe hates everything.
If Joe was saying
Joe
something,
hates everything.
No, I don't think that's true. if Joe was saying something and I hit fail,
bro.
I'd look over there and Joe would be absolutely crushed. Like he'd be like, "What is going on here? Why is everybody hitting fail?" But this guy, no one hits the fail button.
Sandwiches.
No one hits the fail button more than my guy over here, Joey Options.
What do you have against sandwiches, Joe?
Is he mic'd up? I need to hear about this.
You got to explain
but anyways, we have marked down here egg salad, chicken salad, roast beef. Should be a decent Montreal smoked meat.
That's not on there, is it?
No, I made that up.
Oh.
But at the end of the day,
Because Sean knows that's my favorite sandwich.
And then, no, but they do have it normally. They're only listing egg salad and chicken salad, so there'll be more than that. That's why. Crudité, ranch dressing, hummus, and Neil, you win again coming up right here because it's sandwiches, it's vegetables.
Another one.
Cookies.
Are we gonna cook it too?
Okay, we're ready to
Oatmeal
rock and
raisin
roll,
action?
man. It's a P&L kind of day today. That's what's for lunch. It's baked in. The cookies are baked in today.
I'm taking one home for my daughter too, because there's always extra. That's how I roll.
Man, take home two, my guy. All right, here we go. Back over to the desk with Adara. You like sandwiches today, Adara, or what?
Sandwiches are fine. Like, I know people get upset at me in the chat for this. I don't have super strong opinions on food for the most part, unless it's too spicy. So sandwiches are cool with me. Let's talk here, though, about the US dollar, which certainly got a little hot here on the not cooler than expected PPI print. This is the 3-minute chart. As you can see here, we get that 830 number, which I'll get to in a minute. We get this push higher. Since then, though, this 3-minute chart on the DXY, if we are to do a little bit of technical analysis here, as you guys can all see, lower highs, lower lows. Let's switch to the daily chart, as we often do here. Daily, pretty choppy here for the DXY. I mean, obviously running into some resistance in and about that 98 level, but slightly higher lows continuing as well, going back to now a whole month from January 27th of 2026. Let's talk about the PPI, this infographic you can find on X at TTV Research. I usually post these like the minute after the numbers come out on these big number days, but PPI, as I alluded to a couple of seconds ago here, hotter than expected across the board. PPI month for month, 0.5% versus 0.3% expected. PPI year over year, 2.9% versus 2.6% expected. Core PPI month over month, a whopping 0.8% versus 0.3% expected. Core PPI year over year, 3.6% versus 3% expected. So couple patterns here. I think for one, with the non-core numbers, yes, you're hotter than the estimate, but you're cooler or in line with the prior prints. And two, for the core prints, you're going to get the exact opposite of that. Not only are you hotter than expected, but you're actually also hotter than the previous print. So the core definitely more of an issue than the non-core here if I were to do some quick fundamental analysis of these PPI numbers. Back to you.
Thank you there, Adara, and appreciate. Well, actually, no, we got a key for that.
Thank you very much, Dara.
That's the thing. Whether it's looking at the news in real time, analyzing it after the fact, the earnings that we get. I missed NVDA on Friday or on Wednesday, but you guys knocked it out of the park, even though you had to wait around a little bit for it. That's what Trade TV Live is all about. You don't want to have to trade alone. I want to remind everybody, we see you, our TikTok viewers. I see you. Norman, you're looking at Netflix, you say never trade on a Friday. Everyone's got to have their rules. I think Friday's been good so far, but you're in the right spot. We'll continue to monitor you guys and try to answer as many questions as we can, engage with our viewers out there on TikTok. And I do also want to remind TikTok. I mean, I didn't look. I'll be real. My only interest in TikTok is the fact that we're on it there now.
Yeah, I don't have an account, but
I know some people that are on there all the time. They love their TikTok, they love their Instagram, so they can follow all wholesome content, Sharif. Which is all that he ever looks at, the most wholesome content out there. I've seen your feed, brother. Beyond Meat, I tried to get in through 87, and I was able to get a partial fill at the 87 level on this topping tail candle, paid for locates, but didn't pick up the rest of the shares. It was a bit spready. You have to go into like the weird odd sense. So like I was trying to get 87 too, and then couldn't get that fill. I am still in IBIT, which is doing this, topping tail candle and trying to pull back. The Nasdaq did pull back off that 25,000 level, but just looking for a little bit more follow through. So I want VWAP on Beyond Meat. We'll take a bit out there, and then we play into the prior high, which is at 82 cents. And the thing with Beyond Meat is every single time that it's been bouncing, I'm just trying to load a 15. Maybe the 15 is not going to work. Let's go. I'm pretty sure a 60 is going to look a little bit better for this. It'll be able to show you why I like the fade. and this is going to take forever.
Oh my
Let's
God.
just say every time into a dollar, this is what it does.
Oh boy.
So far, so good. There we go. I want to show you guys this lower high, right into here. So there's a rounded bottom. You fail this move, we pull it right back into that 82. So giving it 1 penny, looking for about 5 cents total. The average out will be about 2.5, 3 cents if it goes all the way down. So we get 2.5, 3 to 1 as the target. We've already got 1 to 1 now.
Oh, you just might have heard that as well. Is a hot dog a sandwich is the question people are asking.
Nope.
Right there. But there's the reload, man. We got 181.12s there and just got it out at 45 again as we just keep on putting up stacks. I want to thank my good friend Rob. I saw him walking around here. He actually, you guys are talking about these glasses. These are Gunners, and he bought these for me. So I want to say thank you to Rob for that. We've had them for a minute. It was their Blu-ray or blue light or something kind of glasses there, and they're working good. They're Blu-ray. You know, you put in the Blu-ray disc there, and it just tells you what trades to. Does anyone have a Blu-ray player? I guess the PS5 might play them.
Somewhere in the basement. I don't. Somewhere in my basement, I know way I've.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody has one somewhere. That's for sure.
Just didn't throw it out.
Half of our audience is like, "What's a compact disc?" There as well, but
and I had the best CD player in.
I know that
I had that like shock resistant one because I used to warm up with it. Like I could hold it in my hand while like warming up for track.
I know you.
Now it's like nobody. Absolutely nobody would have any idea.
This has nothing to do with anything. So I'm not showing any kids' faces or anything here. My wife is at our school's assembly. She's the MC, and she's getting a recognition for her French today as well. I'm just showing you like, this just that's the assembly
video of the assembly
right there. Yeah. She'll be taking that. It's nothing. They
have these big. They have a big deal about saying this because when the Karate Kid thing happened, like at the end, they go, "I know a lot of people are taking video. There's a policy. If you're going to show this video, you've got to blot out all the faces."
Do they say that?
Oh, they specifically say it now.
Thing is, my kids are at a very small school. Like my son in his grade 8 class has 18 kids, and same with my daughter. So we are actually
French immersion. Ours is only.
Oh yeah, there's not French immersion.
I know, but the French immersion, it gets down to by the time you get to grade 3, it's now down to 16 kids.
Yeah.
And there's only 2 boys in the entire class.
Yeah, I wonder why no one wants French immersion classes.
It's all girls. All girls.
Oh, good. So I should get my kids into that if they're interested.
Well, I don't know.
Look at this, man. Now $2 in the money right here on silver. And what I wanted to post up was go give your boy a follow. Right now, because when I started this trade, I tagged Brian Shannon in this. I put this up over an hour ago when we were into silver, and we were talking about VWAP. So when I posted this, you could have got long at like 82.75 when I posted that. 82.75. So go give me a follow there over at Trader TV Sean, and let's get this party started, Fergie style. There it goes, $85 right now for SLV. We'll tag that and throw it in there. It's almost the midday. I'm gonna go hit a couple laps, come back, have some sandwiches, put the weight right back on, and then enjoy some.
Come on, man. Sandwiches are healthy.
I know. And enjoy some trading in the after hours.
Go on.
Right now. Okay, you want a super chat? There it is.
It's this one here. Ben fishing. Hey, good for you, man. You can't fish here. It's too cold for that.
Yeah,
you could ice fish. I don't know. I got recognized for my French with Saturday school.
Nice.
Hey, man, you do what you got to do as long as you get the job done. Hangry Wife says sandwiches are not healthy. It depends on the sandwich. Compared to some other options, I'm going to go out on the limb and say,
I'll show you who
relatively speaking, ours are pretty good.
I appreciate that Giga XROX, the GOAT, but here we go. We actually have something for that.
Brendo.
Brendan's head on a goat and or a sheep. So I do appreciate that. Hey, look, man, if you're judging the trades, then I'll put my hand up, and we had a great day. So I want to thank you all for that. Neil had a great day. We all did. It's 11:01. Thanks, Neil. Thanks, everybody, for watching today, including Adara. Great job on some of that news break. These guys are going to talk about all the names that we didn't, most likely. So enjoy that midday show. They're going to cover everything, man. They have a great news segment that happens at 1 p.m. as well. So get ready for the news segment. That's an awesome one. And all the trading you may like. It's Joe. It's Sharif. This is Neil. This is Sean. That's Adara. We're back at 2, but they're here right now. Ciao for now.